subscribe, like the video, and, if possible, join Patreon. But if you don't have much money, you can support the channel by watching the novels on euroaudiobooks.com. Remember that you can participate in the polls so that your favorite novel gets published for free.
Me, then still a long way to go. GOLD, Roger. That's true. After the Zoan fruit ability is awakened, one's own physical strength and resilience will be greatly improved, and the Zoan Phantom Beast is the best among Zoans. Every awakened Zoan Phantom Beast is very difficult to kill. Although Roger would also like to see 5 elders killed, but to be honest, the awakened Zoan Phantom Beasts are really too difficult to kill. Kaido, don't say kill, even if you want to leave a wound. It's very difficult. Kazuki Oden, oh, what about the wound on your body? Kaido, idiot. I said hard, not impossible. Maka's Mazin, look at it. This punch seems to have caused great damage to Satan, but Satan will recover soon. Wait until the reinforcements arrive. Straw Hat Luffy be damned. Nami, you are the one to die. Maka's Mazin, Maka's Mazsheng sneered disdainfully. Luffy shot J. Galucius Satan into the sky with one punch, and he also realized that this punch was not enough to kill him. See, but if he doesn't kill the other party, he and his little friends can't successfully leave naval headquarters today. Luffy can clearly feel that the duration of the drum song has passed half. There are still 15 seconds at most. His strength will collapse, and the backlash will come. When the time comes, he will probably lose consciousness directly, and then be weak for a whole day. Boom! Realizing that there is no way out, Luffy hits his chest again. Boom! Boom! Boom, boom, boom. As Luffy's fists kept pounding on his chest, a new round of war drum songs was forcibly stimulated. But don't get me wrong, this is not to say that the original 15-second song of war drum has been extended to 30 seconds. This is a new round of Song of the Drum, and the previous round of Song of the Drum is still there. The entire naval headquarters simultaneously sounded the melody of 2 rounds of drum songs. Simply put, it's like a duet. Of course, although the duration of the second round of the drum song is also 30 seconds, when the first round of the drum song ends, Luffy has to the direct force is collapse, loss of consciousness. With the great power brought to Luffy by the duet of the drum song, Luffy blew his air suddenly, blowing his whole body up. It's no longer the enlargement of a single part, but the enlargement of the whole. Suddenly, an indomitable Luffy appeared in naval headquarters. He fell, and the building of naval headquarters collapsed. The town behind naval headquarters in the other corner is directly crushed. Next moment, Luffy's legs bent down, then snapped away. Boom! Under the huge elasticity, Luffy's figure soars into the sky. The whole Marin is like a stone stuck in the soil, and suddenly someone pressed it down hard, and the whole foundation sank directly. Suddenly a shocking wave rose around the island, pushing those warships out of the way. Sengoku what? Just a bouncing movement of the limbs directly crushed Marineford? Crane, what happened to the naval headquarters over there? It is estimated that after this battle, the island of Marineford is completely useless. Avaro Pizarro, what kind of power is this? I'm a person with the ability of the island fruit. But if you want me to sink a part of the island, you have to waste a lot of energy. He just squatted down and sank the island. If he jumps up and kicks, can't he crush the island directly? Frankie, in this situation, if Luffy launches a slam attack at Marlin Fander, it may be as powerful as a shot from the Pluton battleship. Roxy Zebek, oh my god. This power is really scary. Even if I was in my heyday, I would have to walk around when I met at GOLD Roger. Ha ha ha! Rox, I didn't expect such an arrogant person like you to admit that you are weaker than others. Rox D. Zebek, idiot Roger. I'm crazy, not stupid. If I meet someone who is better than me, I'm convinced. J. Galucius Satan was shot into the sky very fast, but Luffy's active ejection flight is even faster. In theory, he could have waited for J. Galucius Satan to fall from the sky work. But there is not enough time. Luffy chased directly to the sky. When he chased J. Galucius Satan-san, it took another 5 seconds. There are only 10 seconds left before he leaves. On Luffy's arms, a jet black medium gushes out instantly. Under the effect of the drum song duet, Luffy used armament haki this time, and he had an unprecedented experience. This is more comfortable than using armament haki anytime. It's like countless armament haki villains hidden in Luffy's body. When they suddenly heard the horn of the general attack, they lifted their disguises one after another, all rushed out like a tide. Stop pretending. We have an army of 200 million people, all studs. Subsequently, Luffy's Conqueror's Haki was also released suddenly, same as the feeling of armament haki. The Royal Color Haki this time is also very fun to release. A series of purple energy ripples are rapidly rolling and winding on Luffy's arm. These purple energy ripples are like lightning, instantly intertwined into a purple energy network. Under the double entanglement of armament haki and Conqueror's Haki, it was boosted by the duet of the Song of War. Luffy's strength at this time has reached a super terrifying level. Looking at J. Galucia Satan, who flew to the highest point and started to fall, Luffy raised both arms. Between raising hands and throwing feet, the space actually faintly shows signs of cracking. Gong, dong. He just made a gesture of raising his hand, and the space couldn't bear it and was about to collapse. Maka's Mazsheng, this power. Can Satan bear it? J. Galucius Satan San. This J. Galucius Satan, who was still extremely arrogant and full of self-confidence, was instantly at a loss when he saw the power displayed by the red Luffy on the screen. Seeing that J. Galucius Satan fell to the position directly in front of his chest, Luffy's hands slapped fiercely from the left and right sides towards the middle. The moment the force was exerted, the space immediately couldn't bear Luffy's strength. It collapsed directly with a rumbling sound. Endless space storm and space Uzumaki's violent random scratching. However, Luffy doesn't seem to be affected. He ignores the space around him. Rubber Rubber drum song duet, accompanied by his loud roar. The two straight palms slammed into one place. Snap! Even the people standing below, at such a long distance, they can clearly see at this time. When Luffy's hands were tightly clasped together, something suddenly exploded. Red, white, yellow, black. Messy body, solid fragments splashing. When Luffy's palms were separated, there was no demon figure of J. Galucius Satan, only the mixture falling down with Luffy's palm. Chapter 164, Whitebeard hammered Akainu. Everyone evacuated. Please subscribe. J. Galucius Satan San. Impossible. Seeing that he was killed by the red Luffy suddenly, J. Galucius Satan San is unwilling to believe this kind of thing, and the death was extremely miserable. It was thrown to the ground like a pile of shit. As one of the most powerful representatives of the world government, J. Galuci Sakenraid is unacceptable in any case. Kaido, I was slapped to death when I was transformed into a phantom beast. As a phantom beast in the form of a green dragon, Kaido couldn't help but panic when he saw this scene. If you can slap J. Galucius Satan to death with one slap, who can guarantee that you can't slap him, Kaido? And the most important thing is the red Luffy over there is relying on a rubber fruit to cultivate to such an extent. So, theoretically speaking, as long as Bai Luffy works hard enough, he can reach such heights. At that time, wouldn't Bai Luffy have the strength to slap Kaido to death? Dash? GOLD Roger. It's so strong. Red Luffy Saigao. Kazuki Odin. Red Luffy Saigao. Don Quixote da Flamingo. Fufurfur. The world over there is too interesting. But the world here will also become interesting, Sir Crocodile. When the viewing system is over, the summit war here will be all kinds of exciting. Buggy. I suddenly thought of a question. Since the 5 elders over there issued a kill order to the Straw Hat Boys, after the summit war here starts, will the 5 elders come to kill the Straw Hat Boys? Edward Newgate. If there are no accidents, Japan will definitely. Whitebeard also knows something now, so he is sure that the 5 elders here will not let Luffy grow to that point. Joel Roger. Luffy. When a viewing system is over, stop joining in the fun and leave Naval Headquarters first. As for Ace, Whitebeard, and I will definitely rescue him. Monkey D. Luffy. I must save Ace. Poor gas D-Ace. Stupid Luffy. Didn't you hear what Red Luffy said just now? Now I am not the protagonist. The protagonist is you. 5 elders don't like my life, but they must I want you to die. If you stay in naval headquarters, it will only make this war more chaotic. Roronoa Zoro. Luffy, your brother is right. If you don't participate, it will be more beneficial to save him. Nami, yeah. Luffy. Monkey D. Luffy, I think. When J. Galucius Satan was turned into a meat paste by Luffy's palms, everyone in naval headquarters was shocked from ear to ear. All eyes looked at the unidentified paste falling from the sky in disbelief. That is, one of the 5 people standing at the pinnacle of power in this world. That kind of existence is gone. Just like that, it's terrible. 5 seconds. 5 seconds left. Prepare to evacuate. Robin, catch me. Nami, get ready to launch the Hamahama ropeway. Luffy looked at the ground below and landed from him. It is estimated that 5 seconds will be used up. He has no time to join the battlefield. 5 seconds. Whitebeard's heart skipped a beat when he heard this. He looks at Sakazuki in front of him. Anyone on the marine side can discuss it. But this guy will never let them leave, sadly. With the double buff of Song of the Drum now, this guy must lose his mobility. Thinking of this, Song Yunki in Whitebeard's hand slashed at Sakazuki fiercely. It's as if some kind of valve has been loosened in his body, and the physical strength he can consume in an instant is at least twice as much as before, whether it is fruit ability or haki use. All need to consume physical strength to support. So when you can use more physical strength in an instant, the haki ability and fruit ability you can play will definitely be stronger. It's like the engine fuels up in an instant, and you can give a strong schedule. Originally, with Whitebeard's current physical condition, he can no longer use Conqueror's winding. However, under the boost of the double Song of War drums, it can be used temporarily. The jet black armament haki is wrapped around Song Yunki, and there are also a lot of energy ripples from the purple Conqueror's haki. The knife fell. Before the knife touched Sakazuki, it exploded violently on Sakazuki. Sakazuki didn't expect that Whitebeard would suddenly use Conqueror's entanglement attack, and was immediately knocked down by the knife. Boom! A big pit appeared on the ground in an instant. The dense cracks spread from Sakazuki to the surroundings in an instant. It seems that a spider web is spread on the ground with Mini Marlin's super crash. Whitebeard was counting the time in his mind. He didn't waste the last 2 seconds. He rushed up with a stride, raised his fist, and blasted down Sakazuki's chest. Although Song of the Drums can't boost him as much as it can boost Luffy, it's still terrifying. A punch fell, Sakazuki's body shook like a wave, and Shikimiya bleeds immediately. The powerful vibration force instantly penetrated Sakazuki's body, directly blasting a big hole in the ground below it. Sakazuki was directly rushed into the ground by the violent impact boom. A large amount of rubble and soil collapsed in, burying Sakazuki. Marco, nice job. And Vista, okay. Kill Red Dog. Jinbei, Papa is really amazing. Edward Newgate. Gooey, I can't make such a weak attack. Joel D. Roger. Huh. Whitebeard, you directly control the killing and management. And the funeral is a one-stop process. Shiki, pft. Jiha ha ha. Sakazuki, huh? A bunch of idiots. What does the thing over there mean? Wait until the viewing system is over, and see how I send you to hell. Seeing himself being hammered by Whitebeard over there, Sakazuki felt suffocated and angry. Can't wait for the Summit War to start so he can start killing. In the next second, Whitebeard felt the powerful feeling in his body recede like a tide. Dazzling 100 Blossoms hand to the spider web. Robin crossed his hands, activated the flower fruit ability, and caught Luffy falling from the sky. A series of arm rolling relays, rolling Luffy to Luo Guan. Robin picked it up and gave Luffy a princess hug. However, when Robin saw Luffy's appearance clearly, his tender body couldn't help trembling. At this time, Luffy's whole body has shrunk completely, and the skin all over his body is loose and wrinkled, just like he is in his 70s. Monkey D. Luffy, how come on my 70s jewelry, Polly? Obviously 90. Roronoa Zoro, hey. There, girl, shut up. Kid, Eustace. This should be the sequelae of Straw Hat Luffy's ability. I remember that when he was in Sabati Archipelago, Straw Hat Luffy's body shrank after using the giant balloon. Although it is not the same as this one, it is estimated that his moves are different. The sequelae are different, Trafalgar Law. Yes, I do too. Nico Robin. But this time it looks very serious. I don't know how long it will take to recover. Looking at the appearance of Luffy in the picture, Robin felt very distressed. Ah, Luffy. Nami, who rushed over, also saw Luffy's appearance at this time and immediately screamed in fright. Don't worry. He should be the after effect of using the terrible power just now. And he should recover. Robin reasoned a little and then said, Oh. Nami feels a little flustered, although she can use the ability of slippery fruit to make Luffy's skin smooth. But now Luffy's situation is still clear. He dare not abuse Luffy's ability. Let's talk about it after Chopper's diagnosis. Quick, retreat. At this time, Zoro forced the seriously injured Aokiji back and shouted at everyone. Sanji and Chopper have already finished CP0 under the boost of the Song of the Drum just now, and now they heard Zoro's words and ran over to Nami and Robin without hesitation. Rayleigh looked at Sengoku. Don't chase after me. You know, I've already left you behind just now. Under the increase of the Song of the Drum just now, Rayleigh's combat power exploded instantly, completely suppressing Sengoku in a short period of time, however. Rayleigh himself is here to join the fun, and he doesn't want to form too deep hatred with Sengoku after all. He will hang around in Sabati Archipelago in the future. If you have a big feud with Sengoku now, you have to find another place. It's not a big problem for him to change places. But Shaki's bar is not easy to handle. Rayleigh takes a step back, glances at Sengoku, and quickly withdraws. Buggy's body condenses into a hole while retreating towards his partners. While controlling the 40-meter machete to aim at Paislino, Rayleigh came to Nami's side and then yelled at Whitebeard. Hey, Whitebeard Ace, come here. Nami's ability can send you out. Zero, seeking flowers. Ace raised a wall of fire in front of him and then retreated, but he didn't go to Nami's side, but rushed to Garp's side, pulled Garp away. Grandpa, leave with me quickly. No, Ace, you and everyone go away. I am Marine Vice Admiral, and there are some things that I have to face. Garp broke free from Ace's hand, took a deep breath, gritted his teeth, and said, and there are some things I must ask clearly. What? Grandpa, you stay. There is no doubt that you must die. Hearing that Garp actually wanted to stay, Ace shouted anxiously. Hey, you two. Now is not the time to argue here. The old man who died just now said that the Knights of the Gods are coming. If when they come, we won't be able to leave. Looking at where Ace and Garp are still arguing red-faced, Tion reminded solemnly. Ace was so anxious that he was about to cry. He yelled, but I can't leave Grandpa alone. Luffy can never do that either. Stupid. You are fine, and Luffy is fine too. It is not up to your grandchildren to make decisions about this old man. Garp seems to have made up his mind to die at this time, and he doesn't want to leave. What should I do? There is no time. The Knights of God may come at any time. Usopp said with a serious face. The partners of the Straw Hat Pirates are all in hesitation. Leave directly? Then when Luffy wakes up and realizes that Grandpa is gone, he will have to die in pain. Don't leave? When the Knights of God come, then Luffy won't have to wake up. Give me Luffy. Suddenly, Zoro walked up to Robin and snatched the withered Luffy from Robin. Shave. He moved his feet and came to Garp in an instant. Mr. Garp, since you want to die, let Luffy stay here with you. Zoro stuffs Luffy into Garp's arms, then pulls up Ace and runs away. This sudden scene, Garp was taken aback for a moment, but then he yelled angrily, a hole, take Luffy away. Here Ace was pulled away by Zoro, just about to break free. But when he suddenly heard Garp's angry roar behind him, he immediately understood what Zoro meant. He stopped fighting and quickly came to Nami's side with Zoro. Zoro shouted, Straw Hat Pirates, leave in 3 seconds. Good. Partners also realized what Zoro meant and immediately cooperated. 3. Damn it. Wait, the picture is here. Garp was so angry that he was going to die, but he was controlled by Luffy's life. He himself is not afraid of death, but he is afraid of Luffy's death. If these guys really evacuated, and he and Luffy were left behind in naval headquarters, then when the Knights of God arrive, Luffy will definitely die. Although Garp really wants to ask Five Elders face to face, but at this time it is obvious that his grandson's life is more important. Okay, stand firm. Let's go. Nami activated the sliding fruit ability, and everyone seemed to be on a sled, sliding out along the Crescent platform on the right side of Crescent Harbor. The rest of the Marine generals watched them evacuate, and they all tacitly did not make a move. On the one hand, no one really wants to see Garp die. On the other hand, the remaining combat power of Marine is really terrible. If you provoke the other party and let the other party really fight trapped beasts, Marine will have to die a few more quick. Save people. Sengoku gave an order, and the rest of the Marines rushed to save people behind naval headquarters. On a big raft, the Blackbeard pirates are here, just some time before the Summit War. The Blackbeard pirates used the identity of the 7 warlords of the sea to enter the deep sea prison, and they found Shiryu of the Rain. Shiryu of the Rain, he and Blackbeard hit it off immediately, and immediately decided to join the Blackbeard pirates. He also found a few helpers for Blackbeard in the 6th prison, and then successfully escaped from the deep sea prison. Teach, what can I do? Seeing that Whitebeard and the Straw Hat pirates have all retreated safely, Shiryu frowned. According to their latest prediction, they originally planned to wait for the defeat of the Whitebeard pirates to take advantage of the situation and let Teach get Whitebeard's shock fruit. But now it seems that this is obviously impossible. Chapter 165, this year's supernovas are really reckless. Please subscribe. Sengoku, Blackbeard, the red Luffy over there didn't go to the deep sea prison, and you managed to get it. Marshal D. Teach, I said it long ago, as long as people's dreams don't stop, then everything is possible. Shiryu, it seems that I did not make a mistake in choosing Teach. Ha! Bista, the Teach guy is unscrupulous in order to achieve his goal. Since he has decided to go to the deep sea prison to find someone, he will definitely do it at all costs. Marco, I'm curious what Teach would do next. Just now I saw that Sakazuki was knocked out of the pit by Whitebeard. Why don't you get Sakazuki's lava fruit? Lafitte suggested. Blackbeard Teach laughed loudly. Thief, haha. No need. Didn't you hear that the Knights of God are coming? Going out now is courting death. Let's withdraw AB. Then we returned without success this time. Badgers was obviously a little unwilling. However, Blackbeard Teach grinned. No. We can say that we have gained a lot this time. What do you mean? Pizarro, the villainous king, frowned. Didn't you guys see it? The rubber fruit of the Straw Hat Boy is truly the strongest paramecia devil fruit. I can't look down on shock fruit anymore. I want Straw Hat Boy's rubber fruit. Thief, ha ha ha. Blackbeard Teach is so excited that he wants to pee when he thinks of the scene where 5 elders was shot to death in the trial of the ape god, recorded by Luffy the Straw Hat just now. Hey, Teach. Don't blame me for not reminding you. Straw Hat Luffy is so strong. It's not easy to get his devil fruit. Poison Q lay on the horseback, looking like he would be ready at any time. The look of belching day. No matter how strong his devil fruit ability is, as long as my hand can touch his 403, he can only end up being stripped of his devil fruit. Okay, I made up my mind. Brothers, withdraw. Blackbeard waved his hand, and the huge raft quietly moved away from naval headquarters along the current Gul de Roger. Whitebeard, your devil fruit has been rejected. Edward Newgate. Good, this is looking for death. Kazuki Odin. Haha, that's right. I'm really overwhelmed. Marshal D. Teach. Just laugh at me. Wait until I succeed in getting the rubber fruit over there, and then see if you can still laugh out loud. Shortly after the Straw Hat Pirates and Whitebeard Pirates evacuated, the Red Hair Pirates' ship appeared on the sea. Locky Lou frowned. He stared in the direction of Marineford, wondering, huh? Boss, did we come early? Why didn't we see a ship from the Whitebeard Pirates? Red Hair Pirates heard that Kaido was going to do something, so they went to intercept Kaido just now. After driving Kaido away, they headed towards naval headquarters, according to Shank's calculation. They can reach naval headquarters before the Summit War is over. But now it seems that the situation seems to be far beyond their expectations. It's too early to fart. Is this the end of beating? Lime Jones curled his lips and pointed at Marineford. This island has sunk to pieces. Can we fight it? Yes. Many warships are also emitting black smoke. Dege nodded. Shanks's observation haki unfolded and glanced forward on the unobstructed sea. It's really over. The Crescent Harbor is in a mess, but there is no Whitebeard Pirates battleship, which obviously means that the Whitebeard Pirates have retreated. How could it be so fast? Shanks rubs his chin, ponders afterwards, ordered, "Forget it. Since this war is over, we don't want to join in the fun. Withdraw." The red frame video is here, and slowly dimmed the screen disappears. Yassop. So, we red hair pirates over there are just here to join in the fun? Ben Beckman. Not even the excitement, Shanks. Ha ha ha. It's not good to join in. Anyway, I don't like to join the fun, Dracula Myhawk. What nonsense are you talking with your eyes open? GOLD Roger. Ha ha. Rox D. Zbeck. Is this the end of the viewing system? Finally resurrected, Rox can't help but want to let go of his hands and feet Sengoku. No, there must be more. Hearing the word end, Sengoku panicked. Everyone is young. The old man is not young yet. Please give me some support for the movie viewing system. Don't let it go away now. Shiki. Oh, here's an old man who wants to look younger, Joel D. Roger. Yes, some people not only didn't get younger, but they became 2 years older. It's uncomfortable. Sengoku. Damn, Roger and Golden Lion, stop gloating. Even if I die of old age, I will drag you along. If the movie viewing system ends soon, I have Dawei Tianlong cassock in my hand, and I will stare at you to kill. GOLD Roger. Popped up, and this is Shiki. Jihahaha. Mad at him. Edward Newgate. Google la 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 la. At this time, the screen with white borders gradually brightened. The screen appears. GOLD Roger. There really is. Sengoku. Nonsense. Since the Summit War is something that will happen in the future, why can't there be any future events? Seeing the screen with white borders light up, Sengoku was relieved. Rox D. Zbeck. It's so troublesome. Why are there still? Lousy can't wait. Summit War ends. Garp and Sengoku submitted their resignations to Marshal Kong successively, but they were both asked to retain their military ranks and stay in the Marine to train new recruits. Sengoku recommends Kazan as the next Marine Marshal. The next Marshal recommended by Mariehua is Sakazuki. During the large-scale infrastructure construction at Naval Headquarters, Luffy, Beside, and Rayleigh appeared in Marineford. At this time, Naval Headquarters is when the internal defense is empty, but the three of them did not attack Naval Headquarters but captured a warship and carried out around Naval Headquarters. Luffy rang the Oaks bell at the west end of Naval Headquarters Square. The bell rang 16 times, and then there was a moment of silence. Rox D. Zbeck. It's really courageous and strategic to directly raid Naval Headquarters for the water burial, while Marine's main combat power is all out to deal with the rioting pirates. Charlotte Linlin. Captain Rox, you seem to be very optimistic about this kid. Rox D. Zbeck. Are you blind? Isn't this something visible to the naked eye? Sakazuki. Pirates are indeed a group of restless things. They have survived from me by chance, but they dare to go to Naval Headquarters to be arrogant. Doberman. They died like this, and sooner or later they will die at the hands of the bed dog Admiral. Ochiko. Still blowing it. Didn't you see how Sakazuki on the red Luffy side was hammered? He must be dead. Sakazuki. Stop talking about things over there. The future is clear here. Marine wins big. Akiji and Akainu fought for 10 days and 10 nights on Punk Hazard Island in order to compete for the position of Marshal. Finally, Akainu won. Akiji was interrupted, and Akainu also had a lot of frostbite. Akainu officially became the Marshal of the Marine, and Akiji decided to quit the Marine because of the failure of this duel. After that, joined the Blackbeard Pirates. Kazan, hey, I became a pirate. Marshal D. Teach. Thieves, ha ha ha. Akiji, you are welcome. Sengoku, what? Kazan will defect? It's impossible. GOLD Roger. Sengoku, if I remember correctly, you seem to have said before that if Marine Admiral will rebel, you should write your name upside down. Charlotte Linlin. Aha, I remember it too. Shiki, So now, Sengoku will be renamed National Warfare from now on. Edward Newgate. Yeah, our country's marshal is definitely not the kind of villain who breaks his promise and gets fat. He will definitely do what he says. Sengoku. Nonsense. This is something that happened in the future. It can't be counted as a real thing. Now that I see this situation, then this situation will be avoided. Rox D. Zebek. The sophistry ability of the National War is really top-notch. Sengoku, go away. Rox, shut up. Rox D. Zebek. Okay. National War Sakazuki. Kazan, if you join the pirates, I will never show mercy to you. Gold Roger. I believe this. When he was still a Marine, you interrupted him directly. Now that he is a pirate, if you show mercy, wouldn't you be short-hearted? Shiki. Jiahahaha. The Straw Hat Pirates practiced on various islands for 2 years. Luffy has practiced Buggy with Rayleigh for the past 2 years. 2 years later, the Straw Hat Pirates gathered at the Sabati Archipelago and set off again. In the Fishmen Island, the Straw Hat Pirates defeated Hody Jones and the gang and rescued the mermaid Princess Shirahoshi before leaving the Fishmen Island. Pachmus and Egg Baron from Big Mom Pirates appeared on the Fishmen Island. The Fishmen Island may be about to receive anger from the ant because of the Hody Jones incident, which caused the dim sum processing factory to fail to supply the dim sum agreed to be handed over in time. Just when Pachmus connected to Charlotte Lean's phone and was about to speak, Luffy snatched the bug from the phone and yelled into it. Hey. Are you the Big Mom? I am Monkey D. Luffy, and I want to be the Thief King's man. Let me tell you, the snacks you asked for are gone, because I ate them all. Following Luffy's arrogant declaration, Charlotte Lean's exclamation came from the other end of the phone bug. What? 10 tons of snacks are gone? Luffy said, that's right. I have eaten 10 tons, but I have a lot of treasures. I can give you all these as compensation for the snacks. Hearing this, Charlotte Lean suddenly became furious. Treasure? Can treasure be eaten? What I want to eat is sweet snacks. Baron Dandan also persuaded. Mom, I am Dandan. Please calm down. A few days ago, that kid sank our 2 ships. We just needed funds. As for dim sum, I will try my best to buy delicious and sweet dim sum for you on the way back. Moreover, with only 2 weeks of grace, the Fishmen Island will be able to make up for the lack of snacks. Kirachim and Apu. Bao Biao. I actually heard the name of Kid's guy. Charlotte Snuggle. A mere supernova dares to attack the ship of our Big Mom pirates. You're looking for death. X-Drake. What a tiger, Captain Kid Eustace. What happened to the ship that attacked the 4 Emperors pirate group? Who ruled that they cannot be attacked? Are they born 4 emperors? Couldn't Lousy pull them off their horses and be the 4 emperors? Edward Newgate. Gula la la. What an arrogant little guy. Kaido. Idiot, just beat some garbage in the first half of the Grand Line. Do you think you can disrespect the 4 emperors? After the New World, I found out that there are as many Lingtaukings like you as crucian carp crossing the river, and only those who seek refuge in the mountains can survive smoothly. Charlotte Lean. Arrogant boy, if I let my mother meet you, I will let you understand why my mother can become the emperor of this sea. Kid Eustace. You better let Lousy meet. Then Lousy can blow you up. Shanks, wow. This kid is really arrogant. But the red hair is quite pleasing to the eye. Kid Eustace. Don't talk to me in this arrogant tone one by one. Shanks, you too. If you meet me, I will let you know, Sheen sure there can only be one emperor with red hair. Are you kidding me, Eggy? You have the guts to say such embarrassing things. The voice of the 2.5-year-old mother came from the phone bug, and she roared angrily. Listen to my old lady. There is no such thing as compromise in the dictionary of pirates. Afterwards, she said with a cold smile, but speaking of it, I'm actually interested in that kid who resisted me, little devil. Then, as you wish, the target of this event has shifted from the Fishmen Island to you. Monkey Emperor Luffy. I remember you. Come on, come to New World. Charlotte Lean's voice is frighteningly cold. However, Luffy didn't care at all. He yelled at the phone bug. Okay, just wait for me. I happen to have something to ask you too. A guy like you who wants to wipe out other people's islands because of a trivial matter is really outrageous. I'm going to beat you up in New World. Listen to me. After I beat you to the ground, the Fishmen Island will become my territory. Luffy's face is fierce, and his tone is full of unquestionable hockey nanny. Charlotte Lean's eyes widened fiercely. Whoa. When I saw Luffy's hockey declaration to Charlotte Linlin on the screen, everyone in the chat room was shocked from ear to ear, The Luffy in the white frame video is not as super strong like Red Luffy. There is no ability to reward the viewing system. He is just a pirate with a reward of 400 million. But he was so domineering when facing Charlotte Linlin, reminiscent of Kid's anger against four emperors just now. The viewers can't help but be shocked this year's supernovas are really reckless. Chapter 166, What is your face? Please subscribe. Charlotte Linlin. One or two. I really think my wife is a soft persimmon. A kid who dares to challenge my mother's majesty is fine. But now, there's another straw hat kid. I can't wait to see them kneeling in front of my mother, crying for father and mother. Kaido, This group of ignorant guys will be very interesting when you drain their soul. Charlotte Perispero. Dare to underestimate my mother. I really don't know how to live or die. Leaving the Fishmen Island, the Straw Hat Pirates arrived at Punk Hazard. The island turned into a world of ice and fire in the duel between Akainu and Akiji. On the surface, it seems impossible for anyone to live on the island, but it is a secret research base. Guy Sakurang and Doflamingo cooperate to produce SAD, the raw material of artificial devil fruit. Besides, Guy Sakuran has also undertaken another business, through the funds provided by Charlotte Linlin, to secretly conduct research on giantization in Punk Hazard. However, Guy Sakurang thinks that the study of giantization is impossible to succeed, so he took the funds provided by Charlotte Linlin, called the flower boats over every night, and live a life of debauchery. Of course, Guy Sashiro himself is also secretly developing a mass-killing weapon, Death Kingdom. According to the normal situation, things here should not be concealed so strictly. However, Virgo, the base chief of the Marine G5 branch, is actually a cadre of the Don Quixote family, an undercover agent sent by Doflamingo many years ago to break into the Marine One with him in charge of this sea area. No one can know what happened to Punk Hazard. Even he not only covered up what happened to Punk Hazard, but also took the initiative to cooperate with Guy Sakurang to deceive some villagers in the nearby islands, and got many children for Guy Sakurang as guinea pigs for research experiments. After the Straw Hat Pirates landed in Punk Hazard, they met the samurai Kimin and Momonosuke from Wanakuni, also met Trafalgaro, who was the 7 warlords of the sea at the time, and met Smoker's leader, Justice Marine. Personnel from all sides destroyed Punk Hazard's Research Institute after the melee. Here Virgo and Monet were eliminated 0-6. The Marine led by Smoker transferred those innocent children away, the Straw Hat Pirates, and Luo take Guy Sakuru to Dressrosa, Charlotte Linlin. Nanny? Guy spit on this BD. He actually took all the funds my mother gave him to drink wine. BD, my mother will never forgive you. Guy Sakurang, Queen Linlin, there must be some misunderstanding here. I'm doing my best to study giantization for you. Charlotte Linlin, you study a ghost. Just wait. As soon as the viewing system ends, my mother will send someone to kill you. Kaido, the man-made devil fruit I bought from the clown was actually researched by this guy Sakurang. So, as long as this guy can get the skull in his hands, Lousy won't have to let the clown make a fortune. Sengoku, Doflamingo, you dude has the title of 7 Warlords of the Sea, and you still have an undercover agent in the Marine, thanks to the viewing system. Otherwise, we would have been kept in the dark. Crane, I didn't expect Virgo, the base chief of the G5 branch, to be an inside agent installed by Doflamingo. This damn guy's killed so many innocent children. Don Quixote Doflamingo, Fufurfur. This viewing system is really troublesome, but Luo, you have grown to that point after 2 years. Is it to such an extent? Even Virgo can be killed by you, which is really unexpected. Fortunately, there's a reminder from the movie viewing system, so that my family can be prevented from being killed by you Trafalgar Law. Thanks to the viewing system, I now had an easier way to kill you, Gecko Moria. Hey, eternal life surgery, clown. You are definitely going to die. Don Quixote Doflamingo. Wait until you kill me before you say these things. Fufurfur. Straw Hat Pirate arrive and Dressrosa here. They reveal the secret of the toy. Luffy and Sabo recognize each other. The Straw Hat Pirates and Law's alliance battle with Doflamingo's Don Quixote family. Doflamingo released the Big Move birdcage, intending to kill everyone and use it to silence. Trafalgar Law and Luffy were defeated by Doflamingo, successively Gecko Moria. No way. Did the clown guy not be defeated by Grass Luffy? Don Quixote Doflamingo, what are you thinking? Do you think this king is the same as a low-level character like you? Even if the red Luffy over there is strong, the white Luffy here is a full-fledged rookie. In front of this king, is there any surprise that he was defeated? Sir Crocodile, idiot. Do you know what I saw? Don Quixote Doflamingo, what? Sir Crocodile, you didn't make up. Don Quixote Doflamingo, cut. It's all like this, and soon they will all be wiped out by birdcage. What kind of knife is there to use? Sir Crocodile, I bet the Straw Hat will get up and beat you right away. Looking at what appeared on the screen at this time, Crocodile felt familiar. He remembered that it was because he didn't make up the knife that he ended up in a disastrous defeat. Of course, he can fully understand what he did at that time. Straw Hat Luffy was just a little-known character, but he was 7 warlords of the sea. After giving Luffy a fatal blow, how could he still check to see if the other party was completely dead? If you travel back with the current memory, Crocodile will really make up the knife the people in the birdcage are desperately resisting the shrinking of the birdcage. When everyone is going to be exhausted, amidst the shouts of D-Gaz, all the people are united, shouting the name of Lucy, supplemented by Countdown. D-Gaz shouted loudly through the radio phone bug. That's right. Lucy's other name is Straw Hat Luffy. Although we have always been deceived and dominated by pirates, it may be difficult to trust pirates anymore. But unlike the Don Quixote pirates who appeared 10 years ago wearing a hero mask, this man has been praised by His Majesty the King Powerhouse as hope. Now I'm still down because of the battle. But rejoice, Dressrosa, because Lucy promised me he will KO Doflamingo. All the people of Dressrosa, Lucy is going to be resurrected. There are 10 seconds left before that moment. You must be listening somewhere. Follow me and call out the name of the star. Don Quixote Doflamingo. Fufurfur. How naive. Gaz, you want a Straw Hat Kid to beat me so much. Gaz, it's so strange. I obviously can't speak, but when I appeared on the screen just now, I was notified by the viewing system that I can speak here temporarily. Gaz Doflamingo. You are right. Not only do I hope the Straw Hat Kid will defeat you, but the whole Dressrosa people also hope that you can defeat us. We were deceived by you before, thinking that King Liku is a bad guy. Now after seeing the truth, do you think we will still support you? Gaz, look at the picture in the video. The Straw Hat Boy will definitely defeat you and save the entire Dressrosa. Don Quixote Doflamingo. It's unbelievable. You're just a little DJ in the bullfighting arena, and you're still paid by the king. How dare you have a showdown with the king now? Gaz, a hole like you, everyone will be punished. Even if you kill me, I will not surrender to you. 8 seconds left. 6 seconds. 5, 4. Under the passionate call of D-Gaz, all the people of Dressrosa have been strongly encouraged. The despair in their eyes gradually receded, and the flame of hope was ignited. They all held up 3 fingers and shouted, 3, followed by 1. They clenched their fists and raised them to the sky. 0. Among everyone's expectations, Luffy really stood up. Don Quixote Doflamingo. Nani? Really stood up? Sir Crocodile. What do you think? Kazan. This kid is really Zioki from Immune to Death. After Luffy got up, he fought with Doflamingo again. Doflamingo activates the power of Fruit Awakening and beats Luffy down again and again, but Luffy stood up again and again. In the end, Luffy used the Great Ape King Spear in the 4th gear and directly blasted Doflamingo until the shit came out winner, Lucy, as D-Gaz dragged his blood-spitting body and roared loudly. All the people in Dressrosa shouted, "Birdcage in the sky is gone," just as the dark clouds that have covered Dressrosa's sky for many years dissipate. Doflamingo's Don Quixote family's rule over this country ends at this moment. Officially ended. Gecko Moria. Hey, he didn't see it. Sir Crocodile, I said it earlier, if you fight with the straw hat, if you don't know how to make up the knife, you will definitely lose. Don Quixote Doflamingo. Fur. You two idiots. I am not the same as you two. What I see now is what happened in the future. I will not be so stupid in a future that has seen itself defeated in one scene. I forgot to make up the knife. Since the future picture is not friendly to him. When this scene comes again, Doflamingo decides to kill him directly. Once Luffy falls down, he doesn't care about anything. Just go up and chop him into a mash first. The Marine led by Fujitora Admiral arrested all the Don Quixote family during the live broadcast to neighboring countries. Fujitora Admiral brought Marine to King Riku. Let that vicious pirate rely on the 7 warlords of the sea system, recognize him as the king of a country, and never let this land fall into the rule of darkness. There is no doubt that it is the responsibility of the world government. On behalf of the government of the world, I would like to express my deep apologies again. I am so sorry. Fujitora Admiral's face was full of self-blame, and he knelt down suddenly to King Riku. The Marine soldiers behind him also knelt down, deeply. The surrounding video phone bugs are constantly filming this scene. It won't take long. This scene will spread throughout the world. When Marine Marshal Sakazuki learned about this, he immediately called 270 to Fujitora Admiral, angrily scolded, "Smile. Do you know, just because you wanted the reckless behavior completely discredited justice?" Fujitora Admiral responded unceremoniously, "If you are afraid of losing face, keep it away and don't take it out. If you lose your reputation because you admit failure, it has nothing to do with it not existing in the first place. Different. Empty. A hole. Where did this guy come from, Admiral?" Sakazuki. Damn it. This idiot actually kneels down on behalf of the world's government without permission. It really disgraces justice. Ishiao. Just now I heard the voice in the video say the name Ishiao, but unfortunately I'm blind, so I can't see if the person in the video is me. In Pagliasolino, blind in both eyes? Woo, you are right. Smile. Have I become Marine Admiral? It's ridiculous, Sakazuki. Smile, listen to me. Regardless of whether you will become a Marine Admiral in the future, I am here to solemnly warn you that no matter what the circumstances are, it is absolutely not allowed you do anything to disgrace Marine. With a smile. Although I can't see it, I can judge it from the hydrogen situation. Sakazuki, you are not the Marine Marshal right now. Edward Newgate. Gulalala. Magma Boy is going to usurp the throne ahead of time. Shiki. Sengoku, you are a little bit self-aware. Please resign quickly and give up your seat to Generalissimo Akainu. Roger. Gulalala. Marshal Akainu appears in the Holy Land, Marieva. He is smoking a cigar, looking at 5 elders with angry eyes. That is to say, the false report that Doflamingo quit 7 warlords of the sea is actually an order from you. Seeing that 5 elders did not refute, Sakazuki was furious. Why do you have to make the whole world go around for a mere Doflamingo? If this happens again in the future, as for the matter, as the Marine Marshal, do I still have face? Speaking of which, Sakazuki stared at 5 elders and said in a cold voice, "In the future, please don't do this kind of thing again." Sakazuki, don't be ignorant. Jade Galucius Satanson didn't even look at Sakazuki directly and reminded in a calm tone. Topman Vouchuri is more direct. He snorted coldly. Your face? What is your face? Shepherd 10 Peter looked at Sakazuki unhappily. In your mouth. Sakazuki, you Marine are nothing but the face of the world's government. There is no need for you to follow up on this matter, and leave it to the CP to handle it. The video played here, and the screen with white borders slowly dimmed. The screen disappears. Chapter 167 Luffy 3 billion. Garp 4 billion. The man who was defined as the source of evil. Please subscribe. Charlotte Lin Lin. Ha ha ha. What is your face? I'm laughing to death. Kaido. This idiot, I really don't know how much I weigh, haha. Emporio Ivankov. Old man Peter St. is very reserved. He said that Marine is just the face of the world's government. And he almost said that your Marine is just a dog of the world's government, Lindbergh. Ha ha. That's right. The old man still saved some face for Sakazuki Joel D. Roger. Haha. Where's his face? Does he think he's little Shanks? Shout out to me and let the summit war end. Edward Newgate. Gah. No harm without comparison. Rox DZ Beck. That's it. Just now you barked at my dog? You said that your dog, the Marine Marshal, is different from a real dog? Achiku. That can be said. How about someone whose code name can be called a Kainu? Sincerely loyal and hateful dog. You should treat it as a joke, Shiki. Jahaha. You hurry up. Say a few more. Seeing the ridicule of these big pirates. Sakazuki was so angry that he was about to explode. But the video is right in front of him. Even if he wants to refute, he can't find a reason. The more I think about it, the more irritable I get. At this time, the screen with red borders gradually brightened up. The screen appears an island near Calm Belt. The primitive jungle here is lush, but there is no shortage of beautiful mountains and rivers. 1,000 miles of sunshine is docked in a hidden safe haven. Go ashore from this safe haven, go straight along the path, and there is a valley. There are several newly built wooden houses in the valley. In front of the cabin, Garp and Rayleigh are sitting here reading the newspaper. A reward of 4 billion Baileys is offered. TSK. I want to trade you for wine money. Seeing the amount of reward offered to Garp by the government of the world in the newspaper, Rayleigh took a sip of wine and couldn't help but sigh with emotion. Garp let out a hearty laugh, but he couldn't hide the loneliness in his eyes. It has been a week since the Summit War. After he escaped with the Straw Hat Pirates, Chowley found such a hidden island to stay this time the Summit War. Marines suffered heavy losses. Vice Admiral died, 6 on the spot. 7 were seriously injured. 23 dead in Rear Admiral. 18 seriously injured. Marine Admiral Sakazuki is seriously injured. Marine Admiral Kuzan is seriously injured. Marine Admiral Kazuru was slightly injured. On the contrary, the Marines below the general level have lost very little. The government of the world. CP Zero Maha and Geese Damon were killed. CPO Granier and Joseph are seriously injured. The key is J. Galucius Satan, one of the 5 elders, is dead, and the state of death was extremely miserable, and he was slapped into flesh. When the Knights of the Gods arrived, there was nothing to do but roar in anger. The government of the world is furious because of this, ordered to kill the Straw Hat Pirates without mercy. Not only that, the original Marine hero Garp was also defined as the source of extreme evil at this time. Among his crimes, Roger has quite a few. The most ferocious criminal in the world, Monkey D. Along, is his son. Monkey D. Garp, the heinous murderer who killed 5 elders, is his grandson. Portgas D. Ace, with the most evil blood in the world, is his adopted grandson. He himself betrayed Marine, committed crimes, and personally participated in the murder of 5 elders. Such crimes are added together, and the government of the world can be said to hate it to the bone. There's another interesting thing. Naval headquarters is going to change places. Rayleigh looked down, looking and laughing. Garp stuffed a sunbae into his mouth. What's wrong? Rayleigh smiled. Luffy's last jump directly broke the foundation of Marineford's island. Looking at the situation, it's only a matter of time before Marineford sinks into the sea. Haha. My eldest grandson, I really can't understand him now. Garp shook his head helplessly and said with a smile, he is only 17 years old this year, but he can gather such a group of powerful young people around him. To be honest, even his father doesn't have such cohesion. Rayleigh laughed. Huh, you don't understand, do you? Actually, neither do I. Stop talking nonsense. You don't understand that you are willing to risk your life to accompany him to naval headquarters to make a big fuss? Who are you kidding? Don't believe Rayleigh's words at all. The corner of Garp's mouth twitched with disdain. Rayleigh put down the newspaper in his hand and spread his hands. To tell you the truth, I really can't read it. But when I saw Captain Rogers' straw hat on his head, I knew it was by no means a coincidence. Rayleigh stood up, walked to Garp's side, looked at Garp, who was reclined on the rattan chair. He patted Garp's shoulder. Garp, do you believe that there's a so-called destiny in this world? Destined? Garp is slightly lost in thought. If someone said such things to him a week ago, Garp would definitely be very disdainful. But now, after experiencing the Summit War, Garp also faintly feels that his eldest grandson is definitely not something in the pool. If I'm not mistaken, Luffy is the answer the world is waiting for. Rayleigh takes his hand off Garp's shoulder and walks down the valley. There, the partners of the Straw Hat Pirates are practicing. Is Luffy the answer to this world? Muttering this sentence in his mouth, Garp began to think more and more Sengoku. Damn it. I get it. Raftel must have something. That guy Rayleigh must know something too. And Roger. What the hell do you guys know? Speak up. Charlotte Lin. My mother's also very interested. It's like chasing dramas. This answer depends on my mother's anxiety. Don Quixote, Doflamingo. Fufurfur. Things are getting more and more interesting. GOLD, Roger. Huh. Sengoku, of course I know something you want to know, but don't know, but I won't say it. Ha. Edward Newgate. Go. Sengoku. Can't you see that the 5 elders know more? Why don't you ask them? Shiki. Look at what you said. 5 elders treat Akainu as a dog, but Sengoku as a human? Does the owner need to explain something to the dog? Achiku. Hey. Too much talking. How can a dog know what its master thinks? Haha. Luffy is lying on the bed, and Nami is feeding Luffy spoonful by spoonful with warm pear soup. Luffy opened his mouth depressed and ate one bite at a time, and said while eating, I'm really fully healed. Let me move freely. Chopper said, it's best to rest for 7 days. It's still 1 hour and 37 minutes away. If you dare to get up early, I will never forgive you. Nami waved her small fist vigorously and made a gesture on Luffy's head. Then she scooped up a spoonful of pear soup, put it in front of her lips, and blew the hot air gently, and waited until the hot air was almost gone before handing it to Luffy's mouth and ordered fiercely, open your mouth. Luffy was speechless, so he ate obediently. Speaking of which, just 3 days ago, he woke up once and tried to forcefully get up. I just staggered and took 2 steps against the wall, but I got punched by Nami. Then I've been in a coma until today. He even suspects that he needs to lie down for 7 days because of Nami's punch. At this time, the door of the wooden house opened. Robin leaned against the door with a newspaper and smiled slightly. Did you disturb someone? Is there any news? Come and listen. Seeing that Robin is holding a newspaper in his hand, Luffy immediately became interested. It's just him and Nami here. It's really boring. Robin came over and sat on the edge of the bed. She looked at Luffy and Nami with a smile. Guess how much our Captain Luffy is offering now? I offered a reward of 300 million before, but this time there's such a big commotion. At least it should be 1 billion, right? Luffy guessed cooperatively. I estimate more than that. At least 1.3 billion. Nami corrected. Look, Robin smiled and pointed the newspaper at the two of them. 301Z 9800. Seeing the amount of reward offered by Luffy, Luffy and Nami opened their mouths in shock at the same time. Originally, they thought it would be enough to grow a few 100 million Baileys, and the maximum increase is 1 billion capped. But no one would have imagined that Luffy's bounty jumped directly from 300 million to 3 billion. Just added a bounty. Looks like I underestimated the value of 5 elders' life in addition to Luffy's bounty. The bounties of the Straw Hat Pirates have also soared. Zoro offers a reward of 1.836 billion Baileys. Buggy offers a reward of 2 billion 15 million Baileys. Sanji offers a reward of 1 billion 80 million Baileys. Nami offers a reward of 550 million Baileys. Usopp offers a reward of 1,082 million Baileys. Robin offers a reward of 800 million. Chopper offers a reward of 532 million Bay. Frankie offers a reward of 89 million Baileys. Brooke offers a reward of 56 million Baileys. The biggest increase is undoubtedly Luffy, but the highest double is Chopper. Monkey D, Luffy, hiss, our ship over there has already exceeded 10 billion Baileys. Vinsmoke Sanji, hey, hello. Did you make a mistake? Why is my bounty over there so much less than Chlorella? Is the world government over there an idiot? Roronoa Zoro, stupid, didn't you see me over there directly hit Marine Admiral? You kicked a few Marine Vice Admirals there, and I will give you a bounty boost. It's good to download Usopp. Haha. Over there I have 2 million Pele more than Sanji. Roronoa Zoro. That's right, Chef Color is the real 5th member of the group. Kid Eustace. Looks like the 5 elders are still alive. If I have a chance, I will kill a 5 elders too. J. Galucius Satan-san. Where did the idiot come from? Sakazuki. Idiot. Do you have that strength? Shiki, good dog. Gold Roger. What a dog. Roxd Zebek. What a great wolfhound. Sakazuki. FKU. The 3 of them read the newspaper for a while and chatted about what happened now. More than an hour finally passed as the alarm clock rang. Luffy looked at Nami with joy. It's time. Nami nodded in agreement. Well, get up. By the way, check if there is any discomfort in your body. If there is any discomfort, I will call Chopper immediately. Luffy stands up and moves left stretched lazily. Right stretched regretfully said, Not bad. I should have fully recovered. Luffy feels the following physical condition and gives an evaluation. According to his previous speculation, using the 6th gear, the Song of the Drum, should be weak, but this time he used the 6th gear drum song twice in a row, forming a stacked buff. Although the effect is very strong, but the sequelae are also very powerful. Original weakness can be recovered in 1 day, but this is directly weakened for 7 days, of course, without Nami's punch. It might only take 5 or 6 days to recover. But even so, the sequelae of this stack of duet songs are at least 5 or 6 times as many as the sequelae of single songs of war drums. Luffy can clearly feel the reduction of his life force. At least 5 or 6 years of lifespan are gone. It seems that the Song of War drums cannot be used easily in the future. Even if it is used, it will be used at most as a duet. The duet must never touch it again. If you only use the Song of the War drum as a duet, then it will probably consume about a year of life. To be honest, this is still affordable. As for the duet of the Song of the War drum, it will cost 5 or 6 years at once. At this time, Luffy sniffed on his arm suspiciously. What's wrong? Nami asked. Luffy said suspiciously. It's strange. I've been in a coma for 7 days. Why don't I have any smell on my body? Could it be that I got the disease of you don't need to take a bath and you don't smell bad? Ahaha. Hearing this, Robin covered his red lips and laughed. Don't be so beautiful. You think you are naturally beautiful. You have been washing for the past few days. Who helped me, Zoro? That guy's clumsy, can't he? Sanji? Impossible. Usopp. It should be Usopp. Luffy is guessing this matter is the most suitable for me. Robin chuckled, crossed his hands, and used the flower fruit ability suddenly. Luffy's body was covered with flower hands. Luffy was taken aback when he saw the hand of flowers blooming from his body. Look, isn't this very convenient? Every day, I rub the ashes seriously. Robin controls a hand of flowers and made a recording for Luffy. 013308506 Luffy suddenly said with emotion, It's really convenient, and it seems to be cleaner than washing by myself. Vinsmoke Sanji, hey, Luffy UBD. You are so damned. You are so damned. Wait, Nico Robin. Nanny? I did it. I thought it was Nami. Nami, let's see what you say about me. Boa Hancock. Damn it. You treat Mr. Luffy like this. Mr. Luffy, I want to try it too. Monkey D. Luffy. Oh. Vinsmoke Sanji. Luffy. You. Chapter 168. Listen to the voice of all things. Awaken. Please subscribe. On the open space in front of the wooden house, the Straw Hat Pirates have a meeting, aiming at the current situation unless a major decision is made. Everyone practice collectively. As for how long to practice, depends on the situation. Garp and Rayleigh just wanted to avoid the limelight, so they acted as training teachers. Time flies. The Straw Hat Pirates have been training on this island for a year. During this year, the sea room has changed a lot. Naval headquarters moved to the original G1 branch in New World. Marineford finally couldn't take it anymore and sank into the bottom of the sea. Sengoku resigned, retreated to the second line, and became Marine's big check. The new Marine Marshal is directly designated as Sakazuki by 5 elders. Afterwards, Marine quickly replenished the new forces through the world conscription. The current Marine 3 admirals are Kizuru, Akiji, Fujitora. Besides, there are Marine Admiral candidates Green Bull, Momosaji, and T-Pork. Marine Vice Admiral has also added extremely powerful players. It can be said that the current Marine combat power is not weaker than it was 10 years ago. The Straw Hat Pirates. The effect of concentrated strengthening training is still very significant. Zoro's armament haki has reached the top level completely, and Observation Haki is at least the top level. Under Luffy's suggestion, Sanji integrated paper arts into the practice of kicking skills and created a set of kicking skills that combine rigidity and softness. Usopp's Observation Haki has been honed to ultimate and can even predict the future screen for a few seconds. As for Luffy, in this year, his improvement in armament haki and observation haki is not very significant. Luffy spends more time meditating at first. No one understood what Luffy was doing, but after observing it for a few days, Rayleigh was shocked to find that Luffy was actually trying to listen to the voice of all things. That's not something you can get through practice. Judging from Luffy's performance, since he started to try to listen, it must be because he is awakening this ability. Although Rayleigh doesn't know how to speed up the awakening of listening to the voice of all things, he remembers that Roger often meditated like this when he was young, so he didn't give Luffy any advice. Jewelry Polly. Is he being lazy? Everyone else is practicing, but he just sits there every day. Kid Eustace. I don't understand either, but what kind of ability is he cultivating? Flying Squirrel. What kind of ability needs to be cultivated? It shouldn't exist. Kazuki 910. Ninjutsu? GOLD Roger. Haha. No, if I'm not mistaken, the red Luffy over there should be awakened to listen to the voice of all things. Roxy Zebek. Nanny? This kid has changed so much. Now he has to wake up and listen to the voice of all things? Damn it. This kid is really the favorite of heaven. Edward Newgate. Gula la la. You are right. He is indeed the favorite of heaven. Naval Headquarters Marineford Sengoku looked at this scene and connected with a series of things that happened in the previous video. He let out a deep breath. I thought to myself, could it be, is there really a person of fate in the world? Although Sengoku doesn't know the inside story, but his IQ is very high. Whether it's Roger's inheritance or Rubber Fruit's initiative to choose Luffy, or 5 elders desperate to kill Luffy. This proves one thing without a doubt. Luffy is a blessed person, while the 5 elders are so afraid of his existence. It is clear that if there is anything in Raftel, it is likely to be waiting for Luffy to go. Once Luffy arrives in Raftel, there must be some kind of unknown event that will be triggered. At that time, the world government may face great trouble, even a crisis. Time flies, another year has passed. Sanji is competing with Buggy. Buggy keeps attacking Sanji. Sanji is like a soft piece of paper, always dodging softly from Buggy's attack. Moreover, while Sanji is fluttering, he can also roll up air currents to affect Buggy's attack. Ha ha! I heard it. I heard it. In the wooden house, there was a hearty laughter suddenly. After 2 years of trial and practice, Luffy finally awakened to listen to the voice of all things. At this moment, everything around seems to have undergone a fundamental change. Everything seems to come alive. What Luffy saw, heard, smelled, encountered, everything seems to have life and can actively communicate with Luffy. This is fundamentally different from Observation Haki. Observation Haki can perceive the breath, emotions, etc. of surrounding creatures. This is an active process. You have to take the initiative to find out these things, and Observation Haki can give you corresponding feedback. And listening to the voice of all things has jumped out of the boundary between active and passive, which means that you don't need to actively find out, and you won't passively instill something in you. That thing is there as long as you know everything. Sound a bit dangling, but this is listening to the voice of all things. Whether it is a living thing or a dead thing, as long as you want to know, you can know what it is saying. Compared to 2 years ago, when Luffy first touched the threshold of listening to the voice of all things, he could only vaguely and occasionally hear a trace. However, after 2 years of training, Luffy's listening to the voice of all things is completely awakened. He will know if he wants to know now. What's wrong, Luffy? Nami ran in first. Nami! I made it! I made it! Haha, Luffy stood up, excited. He immediately carried Nami into his arms, and turned around. Nami was startled at first. Then her little face turned red. She stared at Luffy's smiling face. Her heart was pounding. She really wanted to kiss this idiot. However, the next moment, Luffy's curious voice reached her ears. Huh? Nami, why are you me? Nami suddenly turned pale with shock. She subconsciously covered her mouth. Did I accidentally say something just now? Luffy replied, No. Then why did you say that? Nami asked with blushing cheeks. Luffy pointed to Nami's mouth. Because I can hear the thoughts of your lips very clearly. It said that it wants to stick to my lips, This time, Nami is even more embarrassed. Although what Luffy said sounds outrageous, even like a fantasy, but Nami knows Luffy will not lie to her. Since what Luffy said, it means that Luffy can really hear. Suddenly thought of something, Nami's beautiful eyes bloomed, and she exclaimed, Is this what you said to listen to the voice of all things? Yeah, it's so fun. It turns out that everything can talk, and a person's thoughts are different in every place. It's really interesting. Let me see your thoughts in each part speaking. Luffy looked at Nami. Looking at Luffy's eyes, Nami was so frightened that he immediately crossed his arms in front of him, and then went to work. What are you kidding? Can you even hear your body? It's just too much. However, as soon as Nami ran out of the wooden house, she immediately petrified, because the partners happened to be outside the wooden house at this time and were walking towards the door. And Nami's appearance is both hugging and red-faced hiss. The partners all stared wide-eyed and then showed an expression of sudden realization. Everyone turns around in tacit understanding. Ahem. You're busy. Partners turn around and leave. Of course, Sanji was dragged away by Buggy and Zoro Nico Robin. Ahaha. Nami over there jumped into the blue ocean this time. So I can't explain it, Nami. Isn't it all the fault of Luffy over there? Awaken the ability to change so much. Sure, Ag G. That's right. This kind of ability can only be awakened when it gets bigger. Laugh. Ha ha ha. GOLD Roger. Damn it, Golden Lion, UBD. I mentioned listening to the voice of everything in the previous video, so it is already known to everyone in the world that Roger has the voice of listening to everything. Edward Newgate. Goolalala. If we didn't see the video on the Red Luffy side, we really don't know how obscene listening to the voice of Fangwu is. Monkey D. Garp. Roger, just tell me what dirty things you have done with this listening to the voice of everything. GOLD Roger. Idiot Garp, sooner or later your great-grandson will wake up and listen to the voice of all things. You can ask him yourself. Capone Beach, I understand it. The so-called Conqueror's Haki is the qualification to become a king. And this listening to the voice of all things, I'm afraid it is the qualification to become the One Piece. Trafalgar Law. Judging from the information we have so far, once you have the ability to listen to the voice of all things, you will not only be immune to knowledge killing, but you can also hear its content directly from the historical text stone tablet. This is indeed the moment to become One Piece. Qualification. Jewelry Poly. Is Luffy in a straw hat so high grade? Luffy has awakened to listen to the voice of all things, and the strength of other partners has been greatly improved. Even the trio of cleaners and cube sisters have improved a lot in strength. The Straw Hat Pirates meet again. Luffy finally made a decision to go to the New World. A group of people arrived at Sabeti Archipelago because the original naval headquarters Marlin has sunk into the sea. Sabeti Archipelago has completely become a paradise for pirates and criminals. With Sabeti Archipelago today in this situation, Luffy blames himself a little, but not too much. After all, if the responsibility for the sinking of Marineford Island is to be investigated, the main responsibility lies with the government of the world. If they didn't want to kill Luffy out of nowhere, Luffy wouldn't lead his partners to fight back desperately. Then, Marineford will not sink. Luffy is not a result-oriented person, so he will not take this responsibility on himself. After purchasing the necessary supplies, the 1,000 Miles of Sunshine is headed for the Fishman Island. Rayleigh stays in Sabeti Archipelago. Garp stays with the Straw Hat Pirates. After more than an hour, the 1,000 Miles of Sunshine came to the deep sea of 10,000 meters below the sea. Standing on the edge of the window, Califa pushed his eyes. Speaking of which, this is the first time I've seen the seabed. Luffy also looked at the seabed outside the window and said, even if I had a mission to go to New World before, I would go from Mariewa. I didn't expect that the seabed is a completely different experience. Kaku, being a pirate is quite interesting. We have been the Straw Hat Pirates for more than 2.5 years. Speaking of which, life during this time is quite easy. It's as depressing as before. Luffy didn't speak, just looked outside, not knowing what he was thinking. Califa licked Kaku's shoulder. Don't think about it. Remember our identity. Our identity is destined to make us unable to live a normal life. Kaku pondered for a moment, then suddenly said, then, what if we want to make the world's government disappear? Where should we go? In the past, Kaku would never think like this. But after the Summit War, one of the 5 elders was killed. Kaku's strong sense of belief in the world government has loosened. It turns out that the government of the world is not stable and supreme. If 5 elders can die, then 5 elders can die. So can the rest of Mariewa not die? If Mariewa's people are dead, wouldn't the world government be gone? Speaking of, as long as they don't receive the mission, even if all of Mariewa's people die, they won't. Luffy still did not express any opinion on this, but said, let's go, let's prepare some tools. When the ship docks at the Fishman Island later, we need to clean it up. At this moment, the 1,000 Miles of Sunshine suddenly made a strong vibration. Boom! Something slammed into the ship of 1,000 Miles of Sunshine. A murloc attacked our ship, but it did not damage the armor of the ship. Jiwei received a signal from the console. Luffy frowned slightly. The ships attacking humans in such a deep seabed obviously came here to kill us. Zoro, Usopp, go out and have a look. You should kill them. It's time to catch. Wait, Captain. It looks like the cleaners are out of the mantle exit. Matsu's voice comes from the console. Cleaner? Luffy pressed the button and opened the live broadcast of the periscope. Directly in front of the deep sea, several murlocs stopped in the middle of the road. The murloc headed by him was wearing a flowered coat, a beret, and a pair of handcuffs on his hands. And Luffy, Kaku, and Califa put on the film and greeted them. Huh? What are you doing in handcuffs? Luffy came to the front of Hody Jones with a puzzled expression on his face. Ha 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 ha. Because we are the supreme race. It would be too much to bully you if we deal with you with empty hands. The corner of Hody Jones' mouth twitched. Does that mean you can handle us with those handcuffs? Califa frowned on Shiomei, stretched out her hand and pushed the frame, and slightly twitched the corner of her mouth. It's really mentally handicapped. Taste what despair is. Hody Jones shot out in an instant, biting Califa's neck with one bite. But when his teeth were less than a foot away from Califa's neck, he couldn't move even a centimeter away. A strong force instantly strangled his throat. Click! Lucci's palm, covered with armament haki, was lightly folded, and Hody Jones' neck was broken. Throw Hody Jones away casually. Luffy shows disgust. It's really mentally retarded. Chapter 169, Joey Boy's Unfinished Promise to the Mermaid Princess. Please subscribe. Monkey D. Luffy. Nanny? Pigeon Man killed that Hody Jones in one fell swoop? Luffy remembers that in the white frame video just now, he and Hody Jones fought for a long time 2 years later and finally killed Hody Jones as a result. In the red frame video, the red Luffy didn't even need to do it himself. The little cleaner just took a shot and dropped Hody Jones in seconds. The gap is too big. Hody Jones is like a piece of garbage being randomly discarded. When this happened suddenly, several cadres of the new Murloc pirates froze in place for a while, unable to react. But after a while, when they realized this terrifying scene, they all turned around and ran away. Tempest kick water storm. Haku raised his foot, and the powerful kick force instantly compressed the water in front of him, and then exploded violently. Whoosh whoosh. The water blades formed by several streams cut through the sea water in an instant and bombarded the leaders of the new Murloc pirates with lightning speed. 2 of them died on the spot, and the other 3 were half dead. Back on the 1,000 Miles of Sunshine, the 3 of Luffy brought Dothan, Geo, and the big Murloc to the interrogation room. Luffy, Buggy, and Zoro are already here too, as Luffy and others who were born in CP9 Grandmaster's various interrogation methods. Just a little shot, the 3 Murlocs couldn't hold it anymore, and they all recruited them truthfully. After listening to their confession, Luffy looked stunned. So, you have already kidnapped many human pirates? And then plan to capture Longwan City? Yes. Hody Jones forced us to do it. Now that Hody Jones is dead, we will never do this kind of thing again. Please spare us. Leave us alone. We won't do bad things anymore. The 3 Murlocs begged for mercy. However, Luffy curled his lips and said, "Don't get me wrong. I'm not an undersea policeman. I don't want to participate in the matter of your Murlocs. So, we can go." Hearing what Luffy said, Dothan raised his head excitedly. Luffy ignored him, but said to Luffy next to him, "Kill it, and then throw it to feed the fish." Luffy doesn't like to meddle in other people's business. But this group of Murlocs originally wanted to arrest the Straw Hat Pirates and serve as cannon fodder for attacking Dragon Palace, which is more brutal than killing the Straw Hat Pirates directly. How could Luffy forgive them for this crime? Of course, Luffy is lazy to explain these things to them. As for those human pirates caught by them, if it was placed in the past, Luffy's eyes will definitely shine. But for the current Luffy, it's boring. This is not because Luffy has become disinterested in money, but because there is no place to receive bounties in New World. This trip to the New World before departure, the Straw Hat Pirates have already done their homework. Why is the first half of the Grand Line called Paradise? That's because there are a lot of marine bases here, and most of the countries are basically the countries that have joined the world government, and the 3 major marine institutions are also here. And New World can be said to be the territory of pirates. It can be almost divided into the territory of the 4 emperors and several large pirate territories. As for Marine Base, according to the current information of the Straw Hat Pirates, the Marine Base located in New World is only the new naval headquarters and the G5 branch. The location of the new Marine Base is actually the original G1 branch, next to the Red Line. To put it bluntly, it is a DC from Mariewa to watch the door. As for the G5 branch, the Marine Base is far away from the sky and the Emperor. It seems that because it has not listened to the command of Naval Headquarters for a long time, Naval Headquarters has not allocated funds there. But what is outrageous is that the G5 branch does not accept this set. It seems that they have their own source of income. So, catching pirates for bounties is almost impossible in New World. Unless the Straw Hat Pirates go back to the first half of the park to find a marine base to withdraw money every time they catch a pirate. But in that case, why go to New World? It's better to do it directly in the park. A team of bounty hunters got the pier of the Fishmen Island, which the 1,000 Miles of Sunshine arrived at. Stopped. Sure enough, it's a port on the bottom of the sea. There are no ships on this pier. Usopp stretched his waist and looked around. Luffy smiled. There's a reason for this, but it probably has something to do with what the new Murloc pirates did. During this period, almost all the human pirate ships that went to New World from the first half of the Grand Line were taken away by them. It has passed, so there will be no pirate ships appearing here. At this time, an old man Murloc walked towards them, holding the payment registration book in his hand. Califa walked over quickly and paid 10,000 Baileys for the management fee of stopping the boat. The old Murloc left with a smile on his face and gave away a guide map of the Fishman Island for free. Luffy gave an extra 500 Baileys and asked the old man to take another 10 game strategy maps, and then distributed them to everyone. Luffy's main purpose is experience plus travel, so for a magical place like the Fishman Island, if you don't have a good time, what's the point of going to sea? Usopp arrives with a box of Baileys, and Khalifa is in charge of recording and distributing. Everyone has received the activity funds, and they are free to group into groups to play. It's strange Sanji didn't ask to be with Nami, Robin, and Khalifa. Looking at the laughing backs of Sanji, Brook, and Usopp, Zoro is very confused. Chopper jumped on Zoro's neck and said, "I just heard they said they were going to see mermaids at Mermaid Bay." Forehead. Zoro's lips twitched. Okay. This perverted cook is still the same, Luffy reminded. Chopper, you guys go follow Sanji too. When he bleeds heavily later, you have to rescue him in time. Ah yes, Chopper suddenly realized. So he and Zoro immediately chased after him. Sanji in the front turned around and saw Zoro and Chopper coming, and quickly pulled Brook and Usopp. Run. The mermaids there are all ours. Don't show them. I want to go to Murloc Street. There is a huge boat in this picture. What is it called? Nuaw. Frankie pointed to a big ship logo on the plane map, very interested, then left with Fong Fong sisters. Wait for me. I'll go and see with you too. Buggy immediately followed after seeing this. Garp looked around, and then looked at Liu Qi and the others. Do you three want to find a place to eat some delicious food? Just bring me with you. Then let's go. Liu Qi heard the words, and also felt that Garp would be more suitable with them. Hey, isn't Grandpa with me? Seeing Garp go, Nami shouted, "You guys play by yourself." Garp is not a fool. How could he fail to see what Nami meant for Luffy? Didn't he stay as a big light bulb? Let me go to the forest of the sea. The picture says that there is a stone left over 800 years ago. Maybe it is the main text of history. Let me go and have a look. Robin doesn't want to be a light bulb either, so he find a reason to leave. However, Nami grabbed her arm at once. Miss Robin, come with us. Let's go to Coral Hill for dinner first, and then play for a while and go to Sea Forest with you. Although Robin is already very strong now, this place is thousands of miles deep under the sea after all. Nami is worried that Robin will be in danger alone, so he just pulls her together. Come to the exit of the pier. The three of Luffy spent 300 Baileys to buy a bubble swim ring. This bubble swim ring, Fish Sabiti Archipelago's bubble. It can be fixed on the waist of a person. In dry areas, it can make people levitate off the ground, making it easy to move. When encountering a deep water area, you can also directly retract your body to form an air cannon membrane, and people can breathe in it for a certain period of time. Coral Hill. There are many corals here, and on many of the larger corals, buildings with the characteristic style of the Fishman Island are located on them. Mermaid Cafe is one of the very famous restaurants. When the so-called mermaid delicacy was served, Luffy looked dumbfounded. Coral seed sauce cake, deep sea small green fruit, seaweed salad. Where's the meat? Luffy asked subconsciously. As soon as he finished speaking, all the mermaids who were eating subconsciously looked at him. Hush. Nami actually made a silent gesture to Luffy, and then said in a low voice, "Hush your voice, Luffy. I just found out that the restaurant here does not serve meat." Nami pushes the restaurant recipe to Luffy. Robin also reminded in a low voice, "Don't mention meat here. It is estimated that mermaids don't eat meat, let alone fish, so it is a bit of a taboo for local residents to mention meat here." Noticing the gazes of the mermaids around me, Luffy immediately understood, so he twirled his tongue. "Didn't you leak? Why did you leak again? Didn't I say it? Don't let your belly button leak out when you're out of the house." Speaking, he grabbed the lower end of Nami's short t-shirt with his hand, pulled it down, and covered his belly button. Zero seeking flowers. The expression on Nami's face gradually solidified, turning into a bewildered expression. Robin covered his mouth, secretly laughing. His stomach hurts. The mermaids around realized that they had heard wrong, so they stopped looking at Luffy. However, in a private room on the second floor, Mrs. Shirley, the owner of the Mermaid Cafe restaurant, saw this scene and was suddenly shocked. She recognized Straw Hat Luffy at a glance. Because Mermaid Island is thousands of miles below the seabed, it basically lives in isolation. It is basically difficult for the mermaids living here to obtain information from the outside world. Only a few people with special access can know the big things happening in the outside world. Miss Shirley is one of them. When she saw Luffy's appearance, her delicate body trembled violently. This is the murderer who killed the 5 elders. Of course, Mrs. Shirley will not be so stupid as to covet the bounty on Luffy's head. Why does a man like him appear on the Fishmen Island? Ms. Shirley is very worried. She habitually took out the crystal ball and started divination, touching the surface of the crystal ball with both hands. Mrs. Shirley muttered something. With the light from the crystal ball, the black eyeballs and whites of her eyes all disappeared and turned into a crystal form. A moment later, Mrs. Shirley exclaimed, drenched in sweat. When she looked at Luffy again, Mrs. Shirley's eyes were full of horror. Usopp, could it be that Mrs. Shirley's vision of the future in the red frame video is the same as that in the white frame video? They both saw the future of the Fishman Island being destroyed by Luffy, Roronoa Zoro. Looking at the situation, it's very likely to be like this. Nami, how did this happen? How did Luffy destroy the Fishman Island? GOLD, Roger. Shouldn't it be Luffy who destroyed it? I remember Mrs. Shirley in the white frame video just said that the Fishman Island will be destroyed because of Luffy, but the specific way of destruction should not be what everyone imagined. The 3 of Luffy finished their meal, and Luffy proposed to go to Murloc Street to find Frankie. Actually, you just want to eat meat. Robin smiled and exposed Luffy. No way. Luffy feels bad all over if he doesn't eat meat. On the way to Murloc Street, they stopped by Sea Forest. It's unbelievable. In such a deep seabed, there is still sunlight that can shine here, thus forming this unique underwater forest. It's really amazing. Nami held Luffy's hand while swimming, exclaimed at the same time, history text. At this time, Robin suddenly pointed forward and shouted, it's really a historical text. Come to this historical text. Robin starts Shirkai to read. Nami felt the pain of a scumbag at this time. Faced with a large block of text, she doesn't even want to read it. After Robin finished translating, she murmured, this is a letter of repentance. It is a letter written by a man named Joey Boy to the mermaid princess 800 years ago. After speaking, she looked at Luffy. However, I found that Luffy didn't read the text, but seemed to be listening carefully. Robin didn't interrupt Luffy's state, but pulled Nami to the side to have a look here. There, after a long time, when Robin saw Luffy's eyes regain focus, she pulled Nami back. Luffy, you were always fast before. How did it take you so long this time? Robin asked with some doubts. They have also translated 2 historical texts before, and with Luffy's mastery of historical text translation knowledge, they can already reach the level of Robin's speed. But this time Luffy took so long. Of course, Robin will be confused. Luffy looks at Robin. I'm listening to what it says. Tell Joy Boy's confession? Robin asked. More than that. When his steel was just engraved, it told me all about Joey Boy's situation at that time. It turns out that the mermaid princess 800 years ago was Poseidon at that time. Joy Boy made an agreement with her to let the Fishmen Island live in real sunshine. However, Joy Boy failed to fulfill this promise. When Joey Boy wrote this confession, he was running out of time. Although this confession made Joey Boy blame himself, but what he couldn't let go of was his love for the mermaid princess. A promise made alone. Luffy calmly recounted what the history text Steel told him. Joey Boy's single promise to the mermaid princess? What is it? Robin and Nami's cheeks were full of curiosity at the same time. 9. Chapter 170. I want to meet this mermaid princess. Please subscribe. Jewelry Polly. It's amazing. I'm so lucky to hear the content of this historical text. Sir Crocodile. If only he had said that when translating the historical text of Alabasta. Gecko Moria, the stone tablet on Sky Island records the whereabouts of Poseidon. It would be nice if that piece was told Guion. What will Joey Boy's solo promise to Mermaid be? From 800 Young Promises. Edward Newgate. Googling. That's right. There were 400 years of male romance before, and now there are 800 young cross-border promises. This viewing system is really exciting. What about Vision, Charlotte Linlin? That's right, Whitebeard. My mother is also interested in the content of this promise. Ha ha. Luffy looked at Nami and Robin and said, Joey Boy promised the mermaid princess 800 years ago that he would take her for a walk in the forest. Hey, Nami was taken aback for a moment. Seeing that Luffy seemed to have finished speaking, her little face showed a confused expression. It's gone? Robin also said in an incredible way, This is an agreement. Obviously, for them, going for a walk in the forest is too common. Can this be considered promise? Seeing the content on the screen, the viewers were also stunned. Marco. Is that all? Black Maria? Hey, don't be like this. After laying the groundwork for a long time, is this appointment just a walk? Charlotte's smoothie. Although it is very difficult for Murlocs to reach the land, if they really do 847, it is not a difficult task to reach the sky. As a promise, it is indeed hard to understand Shirahoshi. Isn't this the promise that Mr. Luffy promised me 2 years later in the white frame video? Monkey D. Luffy, yes, coward. Although I promised you in the future in the video, but now I officially promise you, I will definitely take you for a walk in the real forest. You gimme be good in the Shell Tower. After the Summit War is over, I will beat that fellow Vanderdyke into the ground and let you live and be free again. Shirahoshi. Mr. Luffy, I'm sure Fei is waiting for you to save me in the Shell Tower Gone. Take Straw Hat Luffy as an example. He promised to take Princess Shirahoshi for a walk in the forest. He can do it if the Straw Hat Pirates stop sailing for a while. It's not difficult, Jiaji. Yes, just float up from the Fishman Island. It's very simple, isn't it? Looking at Nami and Robin's puzzled looks, Luffy spread his hands. However, although this answer is outrageous, if you look at it in conjunction with the content of the historical text of Sky Island, it seems that can I find the answer, Sky Island. Nami frowned slightly. In terms of archaeology, she is like a scumbag, and she can only talk about it in this school where Mr. Luffy and Mr. Robin. Robin was stunned for a moment, and then said, the stone tablet in the historical text of Sky Island mentions that the real identity of ancient weapon Poseidon is actually a mermaid princess with the ability to communicate with sea kings that appeared only hundreds of years ago. The king of sea kings has the ability to talk to sea kings and command them. Speaking of this, Robin's pupils suddenly bloomed. Exclaimed, could it be that the mermaid princess mentioned in this historical textile 800 years ago was actually Poseidon at that time? Luffy nodded. That's what he thought. Robin opened his red lips. If this is the case, then everything can be understood. Nami also reacted, took a deep breath, and said, yes, Poseidon is the king of the ocean, but if she comes to land, she will lose all advantages. At this time, her enemies will definitely try to kill she. And the mermaid princess must be a weak mermaid, too easy to be targeted. Robin continued, if the identity of the mermaid princess Poseidon had been known to the world at that time, then this agreement would have been difficult to complete. Luffy shakes his head. No, he's done. What? What is he going to regret after finishing it? Nami and Robin opened their mouths in shock at the same time. Luffy said calmly, he fulfilled the agreement to take the mermaid princess for a walk in the forest, but the mermaid princess died because of it. That's why there is this letter of repentance from Joey Boy. One dead. How did you die? Nami's face suddenly burst into unacceptable pain, and the little hand subconsciously grabbed Luffy's arm. Luffy shook his head. I don't know about that. This historical textile only says so much. Jewelry Polly. So, the mermaid princess who was Poseidon 800 years ago was killed. Kid Eustace. 800 years ago? Was it the time when the world government was established? Don Quixote da Flamingo. Fufurfur. Someone seems to have discovered some big secret. J. Galucius Satanson. Shut up. Are you looking for death by pouring dirty water on the world government? Kid Eustace. Cut. You old man. It's okay to scare 3-year-olds. Scare Lousy? Lousy take care of you. Kid has always been a master who is not afraid of anything. From the moment he went out to sea, he had already pinned his head to his waistband, who doesn't work well. Kira, we already have today and no tomorrow. Are we still afraid of being wanted by the government of the world? 5 elders are Big Sand Force. Rox D, Zebek. Haha, you two boys, interesting. So interesting. Do you want to create a great business with me? Kid Eustace. Whether it's cool or rest. Edward Nujek. The world government was established 800 years ago, and the time Poseidon was killed was also 800 years ago. If there is no conspiracy in this, I wouldn't believe it if the second doctor was killed. Gulala. Calm. Then you will die if you are old and foolish. Everything has to be related to the world's government. And if you don't pour dirty water on the world's government, you won't talk. Right? GOLD Roger. Kong. You're really a good dog of Tianlong people. Sprinkle dirty water on the world's government? Let me put it this way. A basin of dirty water is poured on the world's government body. Maybe the basin of dirty water has become even dirtier. Shiki. Jiahahaha. Roger. You are so cool and talented. Haha, you are so right. Kazuki Odin. No wonder the government of the world is so afraid of someone looking for the truth of history 800 years ago. It all seems to make sense. Edward Newgate. In this way, the O'Hara incident, the water was very deep. Makas Mazin. Shut up, everyone. Poor Princess Poseidon 800 years ago. Nami's eyes were red, and she cried. This Joy Boy is damned. He failed Princess Poseidon. No. Robin put his arms around Nami's shoulders and said, obviously, Joy Boy didn't know about the assassination plot against Princess Poseidon in advance. He must have been deceived, so he blamed himself so much. Write a letter of repentance, so that future generations will also know the mistakes he made. Luffy nodded, yes. The most damned are those who cheated on Joey Boy. After reading this historical text, the three of Luffy went to Murloc Street with a heavy heart. The so-called Fishmen Street can actually be said to be the district of the Fishmen Island. The houses here are intricate, without any aesthetics at all, and the streets and alleys are typical of a mess. It's really unimaginable. It's also on the Fishmen Island. The Coral Hill and Murloc Street are simply two worlds. Looking at the dilapidated buildings around, Nami subconsciously covered her nose and showed her forehead. Roughly, Luffy smiled. This is actually very normal. There is a gap between the rich and the poor in any island. It is impossible for everyone to live a rich life in any one place. If an island is full of rich people, then I ask you, is there anyone willing to do manual labor? Hearing this, Nami began to think seriously. Luffy went on to say, of course, if a certain island lives by exploiting other islands, the people on this island can also make everyone rich and live a comfortable life. But this is what I just said. Some people live a good life without worrying about food and clothing, and there are bound to be people who live a hard life. This is actually a kind of conservative. Nami seemed to understand and said, but their comfortable life is the result of the hard life of the people on other islands, right? Exactly. Luffy smiled slightly. At this moment, he pointed to the side. Here, this grilled fish restaurant is the most famous in Murloc Street. Although it doesn't look too clean, but I asked all the way just now, and everyone said this restaurant, the grilled fish, tastes really good. The three of Luffy sat down. He patted Bailey on the table and waved his hand. Boss, give me 3 servings of the most delicious grilled fish in this shop. Hey, Luffy, you don't need to order 3 servings of everything. You can eat it, but we can't. Nami shouted immediately. It doesn't matter. I actually ordered it for myself. Here is the menu. Let's see what you want to eat. Luffy pushed the menu to Nami. Nami bared her teeth. At this time, Robin pouted his red lips, smiled softly, and said, Luffy, your behavior of local tyrants seems to have brought us trouble. Luffy glanced at the Murlocs around him and released a Conqueror's Haki. These guys with evil intentions were all overturned to the ground and passed out. Instead of being stared at by people while eating, it is better to lead the snake out of the hole and clean it up. This will not only make you feel comfortable eating, but also deter the owner of the grilled fish shop, so that he does not dare to cut corners. Sure enough, just as Luffy expected, the owner of the grilled fish shop turned black with fright and hurriedly shouted, Customers, please wait a moment. The food you want will be here soon. After a short time, the delicious grilled fish will be served. Luffy is finally satisfied. We have a meal. It tastes really good. Luffy was in a good mood, tipped 100 Baileys, and then walked to the end of Murloc Street with Nami and Robin. When they came in front of Noah, Nami opened her mouth wide and exclaimed, "Oh my god, this at least it's half the size of the Fishman Island. Flying squirrel. Under the 10,000-meter seabed, there is such a big ship. This is simply an island." Guion. Sure enough, the world is really big. If it wasn't for the viewing system, how could we see so many amazing things? Crane. For such a big ship, the materials alone are very demanding, and the manufacturing technology is even more difficult. What is the purpose of this ship sleeping here? Is it the same as the one mentioned before? About that agreement, Kazan. Use this ship to transport the Murlocs to the land, and then live in the Real sunshine? It can't be so outrageous, Paulusalino. Maybe the truth is so outrageous. Luffy, are you here too? At this moment, Frankie came out from one of Noah's windows. Kaiwi and Maz follow behind him. Yeah, we found something, so we came to see this ship. Did you find anything? The three of Luffy went up to meet them. Yes, the craftsman who built this ship must be top shipwrights. The craft of shipbuilding is no less than that of my master. Moreover, I asked the nearby Murlocs. They say the ship has been around for hundreds of years. It's really unimaginable what a man-made ship without a power system was used for hundreds of years ago. No power system? Nami was surprised. Frankie nodded. Yes, on such a deep seabed, without a power system, and filled with seawater, this ship will never see the light of day. This ship has a power system. At this time, Luffy suddenly spoke. Nanny? Frankie looked at Luffy with a startled 2.5. Why didn't I notice? Luffy pointed to Noah's body. Look, those huge chains around this ship are exactly the unique power system of this ship. Named Sea King's power system, Frankie looks dumbfounded. Then he exclaimed, Hey. You mean use Sea Kings to tow the ship? Such a ridiculous idea. Thanks to you at this time. Nami's eyes showed a sudden realization. She said, I see. This ship is actually a ship tailor-made for Princess Poseidon. Luffy said, it can be said that this ship can only be activated by Princess Poseidon. As for the purpose, it should be used to fulfill the task of keeping the Murlocs alive. Use it for the promise in the sun. Hey, you guys seem to know something that I don't? What's going on? After hearing what the three of Luffy said logically, Frankie hurried up. Nami told Frankie what Luffy said when they were in Hazezen. After listening to this, Sleeping Lanky was shocked. Luffy turned to look at his partner and suggested, let's go to Dragon Palace City. Dragon Palace City is where the Fishman Island's Imperial Palace is located. Outsiders are generally not allowed to enter there. What are we going to do there? Nami asked. Luffy rubbed her chin, pondered for a moment, and said, I want to meet the current mermaid princess. Chapter 171 Poseidon's identity is exposed, and all parties compete for it. Please subscribe. Monkey D. Luffy. Why do I suddenly want to see a coward? Looking at the sudden words of Red Luffy, Luffy himself felt strange. His sighed. It was because I saved Shirahoshi's pet on the way, so I was invited to Ryugu Castle. Then Luffy was attracted by the smell of food to the Shell Tower, where Princess Shirahoshi is. This is the intersection with Princess Shirahoshi, but the Red Luffy over there has never had any contact with Shirahoshi since entering the Fishman Island. Why did he suddenly want to meet Shirahoshi? Nami, yeah. This is too sudden. Shirahoshi. Is Mr. Luffy over there going to see me too? That's great. I can be saved over there too. Vin smokes Sanji. Don't worry, beautiful Miss Shirahoshi, you will be saved. Mermaid Princess? Hearing that Luffy wanted to go to Dragon Palace City. It turned out to be such an idea, and all the people present were stupefied. Hey, Luffy, do you know the Mermaid Princess? Nami asked in confusion. Luffy spread his hands, curled his lips, and said, How could I know the Mermaid Princess? I don't even know if the Fishman Island King of this generation has a daughter. One Nami opened his mouth. Then why are you? The information we got from the historical textile on Sky Island mentioned that Poseidon only appears once in hundreds of years. The last Poseidon died 800 years ago. According to the information on the historical text deal, let's see, since it will only appear once in hundreds of years, then the next Kai should appear soon. Of course, it may have already appeared, but the Fishmen Island kept this secret. Princess Poseidon has died of old age. However, I want to try my luck. What if the mermaid princess of this generation is Poseidon? Luffy explained Sengoku. Poseidon? No way. No wonder the Sea Kings took the initiative to hold Noah at the end of the white frame video, just now, so as to save the Fishmen Island. Now it seems this is no accident. Although the Red Luffy only guessed that Shirahoshi is Poseidon in 08, but the viewers have just seen the situation in the white frame video, and now they connect, and they suddenly discovered something terrible. Jinbei, no. Princess Shirahoshi is not Poseidon. Those Sea Kings just happened to come over. As the captain of the Murloc pirates, Jinbei of course knows that Shirahoshi is Poseidon. But this matter is a secret that he must desperately keep. When he was watching the white frame video just now, he was very worried about whether the identity of Princess Shirahoshi would be exposed. Although there are several giant Sea Kings dragging Noah at the end of the white frame video, but to Jinbei's satisfaction, the video never clearly stated that those Sea Kings came because of Shirahoshi. He originally thought that Princess Shirahoshi escaped unharmed, but he didn't expect Red Luffy to directly make such a guess based on the known information. Red Luffy's guess is not scary. What's scary is this kind of thing. Once there is a reminder, people here will think in that direction. Then, based on the clues in the white frame video, it is very possible to speculate that Shirahoshi is Poseidon. Like the current Sengoku, he guessed it right away. Monkey D. Luffy. Nani? Cowardice is Poseidon. Now, Luffy has not gone to the Fishmen Island yet. What he saw just now is only a picture of the future. So what Luffy saw in the white frame video, he himself is in the fog. Of course, he would not think that Shirahoshi is Poseidon Crane. Jinbei, you were excited? Instead, it confirmed Marshal Sengoku's speculation. Sora. So Poseidon has already appeared. Isan Baranvi in Nashu Langshun. As an ancient weapon, if Poseidon is allowed to exist on its own, it is very likely to cause incalculable consequences. Just take people to the Fishmen Island and bring Poseidon Shirahoshi to the Holy Land. Empty, yes. Jinbei, a hole. You can't do this. Sengoku. Jinbei, don't worry. What 5 elders said was to take Shirahoshi over. They didn't intend to hurt him. The Fishmen Island must cooperate well. GOLD. Roger. Aha! The pits of the world's main house and Marine really laughed at me. Do you want to get Poseidon in your hands? What is your thoughts? Do you know yourself? Edward Newgate. They are already shameless. No one will be surprised if they say anything hypocritical. Jinbei. Are you also on the prison ship? Jinbei, yes, Dad. Edward Newgate. Once the viewing system is over, go to the Fishmen Island as fast as you can and take Princess Shirahoshi to the deep sea for protection. Jinbei, got a donkey. Kong. Whitebeard, you have to meddle in everything. Edward Newgate. Empty old dog. Get the hell out of here, old man. The Fishmen Island is my territory, and I will protect the people on the territory. There is no problem. Rox D. Zebek. Ha. Poseidon's identity has been revealed. It will be interesting if I get Poseidon this time. Huh? Shirahoshi. Oh, so scary. Jinbei. Princess Shirahoshi. Don't be afraid. I will rush back as fast as possible, and I will never let anyone hurt you. Edward Newgate. Neptune. I heard from this old man. Now you send out all the people in Dragon Palace who you can't fully trust. Then you lead the elite of Dragon Palace to protect Princess Shirahoshi and persist until the end of the day. For Jinbei's strength, Whitebeard still trusts very much. On land, although Jinbei's strength is inferior to Admiral's, but in the sea, Jinbei is almost invincible. 10. It is no exaggeration to say that 10 Admirals can only be beaten by Jinbei. On the way to Dragon Palace, Luffy and the others inquired a little bit and found out there really is a mermaid princess. Shirahoshi, 16 years old, already slim. There really is a mermaid princess. Luffy, but how do you know if the mermaid princess is Poseidon? If the mermaid princess is really Poseidon, what do you want to do next? As a calm big sister, Luo smelled out the doubts in her heart. You can shake your head. Actually, I don't know how to identify Poseidon. If the mermaid princess is really Poseidon, then I want to invite her to be our partner. Hearing this, Frankie opened his mouth wide. Nanny, Nami and Robin are also shocked to invite a princess as a partner. You really want to come out. However, Robin is ice snow smart after all. After only a brief shock, she realized something. She looked at Luffy. Are you afraid that Poseidon's power will be abducted by people with bad intentions? Well, more or less. Of course, this horoscope has not been written yet. Maybe this year's mermaid princess is not Poseidon at all. For the idea of inviting Poseidon to join the team, Luffy just mentioned it casually. Even if the mermaid princess is really Poseidon, Luffy will still consider the other party's thoughts. It is impossible to tie up the other princess and leave like a bandit. When the few people came to the Dragon Palace city, they happened to meet the Dragon Palace guard led by the great Prince Shing. Together with them is Mrs. Shirley, the owner of Murloc Cafe, almost hitting Luffy and others head on. Mrs. Shirley exclaimed, "Ah, it's them. Catch him." Sharkstar pointed his finger in the direction of Luffy and ordered coldly. Luffy's Conqueror's Haki was released instantly, and the soldiers of the Long Gone Guard who were about to rush over all turned pale in an instant, half paralyzed on the ground. See, because there is no grievance between the two parties, so Luffy is still merciful. Otherwise, they can actually spray their shit together. A whole. Eat me with a fork. Seeing that the soldiers were all stunned, Shing holding a steel fork and came towards Luffy when Luffy's Conqueror's Haki leaked a little again, making Sharkstar so weak that he couldn't even hold the steel fork. But I didn't faint, and my consciousness is normal. Hey, even if it's a robbery, people will come up and shout a slogan first. You don't say anything when you meet. What's the point of doing it right away? Are you people from the Fishman Island so brutal? Is it unreasonable? Luffy scolded very displeasedly. Then, she looked at Shirley again. And you, why are you so afraid of me? Your eyes, your mouth, and your body all speak of intense fear. Why? Shirley is trembling all over at this moment. On the one hand, because she saw that the Fishman Island will be destroyed by Luffy in the future, and on the other hand, probably because she was bumped into by Luffy as soon as she told the news to Sharkstar. She felt a guilty conscience. Listen, Straw Hat Crew, Mrs. Shirley's divination is 100% accurate. In the past 10 years, everything in her divination has happened accurately. And she can't account for the fishmen. The island will be destroyed in the future because of your Straw Hat Luffy. So, I will absolutely not allow such a thing to happen. Sharkstar is weak all over. He is gasping for breath even when he speaks. Nanny? The Fishman Island is destroyed because of me? Luffy suddenly showed a black question mark expression pack. Nami is also angry with his hands on his hips. What are you kidding? We don't know each other at all. But you want to arrest us because of this ridiculous so-called prophecy? Wait, you know me? Luffy suddenly frowned and looked at Sharkstar. Just now this guy mentioned Straw Hat Crew. It's strange that I don't know you. After the Summit War 2 years ago, is there anyone in this world who doesn't know you, Straw Hat Crew? Although you are powerful, in order to protect the Fishman Island, even if you risk your life, I will fight with you too. Sharkstar's eyes are full of firmness. I see. Luffy suddenly showed an expression of enlightenment. His arms stretched instantly and pulled Mrs. Shirley to him, staring at her smoky eyes, and said, I know why Yu Dao was destroyed because of me. Why? Miss Shirley's face is terrified. Luffy raised his eyebrows. Because you have no reason for we attacked. So in a fit of rage, I bloodied the whole of the Fishman Island in the depths of the ocean. Doberman. Sure enough, a pirate is a pirate. Just because of a misunderstanding, the Murlocs from the entire Fishman Island are going to be buried with them. It's so cruel. Stolo Berry. It's like he suddenly found a good excuse to kill innocent people. Joel D. Roger. Why do you two look like you have no brains? Red Luffy's expression is obviously intended to scare each other. Ghost Spider. The whole island will be stained with blood at every turn. Even if it's a scare, Doesn't it also expose his ferocious nature? Edward Newgate. Googling, Roger, what are you arguing with these idiots? I bet there's no way Red Luffy could hurt anyone innocent, Murlocs. Mrs. Shirley opened her mouth wide in horror. The great Prince Shark even yelled, "Don't!" Luffy spread his hands. Didn't you ask for this? There must be some misunderstanding. Listen to me. Even if you want to blame me alone. The other people in the Fishman Island are innocent. After Sharkstar felt Luffy's strength, he knew that his strength could really kill the entire the Fishman Island. 043 was suddenly scared. Luffy walked up to Sharkstar and asked calmly, "Do you think it will take a long time for me to kill all the people from the Fishman Island?" "No, it won't take long," Sharkstar answered truthfully. The other party didn't even make a move and directly dealt with the most elite troops in the entire Dragon Palace city. If people really want to kill, it's really easier than chopping vegetables. So, you see, it is really a very easy thing for me to destroy the whole of Fishman Island. But I don't care, Luffy finished speaking to Sharkstar, then turned to look at Mrs. Shirley again. I don't know what you saw in the divination, but I hope you understand one thing. If you don't seeing the exact future, don't rely on your own one-sided guesses to make a conclusion on something. If the protagonist of today's incident is not me, but another cruel sea thief, then the Fishman Island is really as you wished, was destroyed. GOLD Roger. Were those idiots Marine Vice Admiral just now? Get out of here. Horse riding. Show me a good look. Where's the cruelty of Red Luffy? Cruelty, you motherfuckers. Thinking of the 3 Marine Vice Admirals deliberately taking the rhythm just now, Roger was so angry. Edward Newgate. Don't get angry, Roger. Can't you see what kind of virtue those Marine dogs are? They have been fighting since the old dog ordered Shirahoshi to be arrested just now. I don't even bother to pretend. You are angry with the dog, so you don't Sengoku. Huh? Whitebeard, don't be so yin and yang. You control Shirahoshi in your hands, and you have a good wish. Edward Newgate. For this matter, I don't even bother to discuss it with you. Head Toei. Shiki. Jiahahaha. Toei's good. Toei's good. Swallowing due to nervousness was clearly visible on the white neck. Mrs. Shirley was completely shocked by Luffy's haki. Not only that, Luffy's words are not only well-founded, but also has a nice voice, which makes Mrs. Shirley unable to have any thoughts to refute. Suddenly, there was a violent sound of breaking water in the sea, and then I saw a double-edged axe whirling from the sea above and quickly flew towards the interior of Dragon Palace City. Luffy's arm stretched out, grabbing the double-edged axe directly. Frowning, Luffy looked at the double-edged axe in his hand, curled his lips. The axes are flying around the top of the head. Is the law and order environment in your Dragon Palace City so bad? Chapter 172, Shirahoshi finally boarded the ship and entered the new world. Please subscribe. Looking at the double-edged axe in Luffy's hand, Nami was also very puzzled. No way. When I was playing just now, I felt that the environment on the Fishman Island is quite safe. How did it become unsafe after arriving in Dragon Palace City? No, that axe flew from outside the Fishman Island. The great Prince Shashing quickly explained. Then, he recounted how Vanderdaken had been throwing weapons and love letters at Shirahoshi for 10 consecutive years. 10 years. The expression on Luffy's face is very exciting. He shook his head slightly. So, there must be some important secret hidden in Princess Shirahoshi, right? One hearing this, Ian Wangzi Shashing quickly shook his head. No, you are lying to me. Luffy smiled lightly and then analyzed. 10 years. Do you know how much perseverance it takes to do one thing continuously for 10 years? If there are no unimaginable benefits, people like Vanderdaken, how can a kind of pirate persist? Didn't you just say that there are still love letters? Could it be that Vanderdaken is really an infatuated person? Kaiwi asked curiously. Ha ha ha. Without Luffy answering, Frankie laughed first. Princess Shirahoshi was only 6 years old 10 years ago. Is he infatuated with a 6-year-old child? Ha ha ha, this is so nonsense. Kaiwi suddenly realized how ridiculous his words were at this time. Luffy looked at Sharkstar and asked calmly, Actually, Princess Shirahoshi is Poseidon, right? Suddenly hearing this, the big Prince Shark Star was shocked. No, it's not. Luffy has a strange expression. Hey, you are too honest. If I ask casually, you won't be able to keep this secret. No, I didn't say that. The big prince, Sha Xing, hastily retorted. Mrs. Shirley at the side touched her forehead lightly and sighed. Hey, Your Highness Sharkstar, your reaction immediately proves that the Straw Hat Luffy guessed right. Realizing that Luffy has identified Shirahoshi's Poseidon identity, Sharkstar looked at Luffy vigilantly. Straw Hat Luffy, are you also coveting my sister's Poseidon ability, just like Vanderdaken? Prince Sharkstar, in fact, you don't need to be so hostile to me. Luffy looked at Sharkstar calmly. My strength lies here if I want to bring anything from the Fishman Island. No one in the Fishman Island can stop me. Of course, I can also clearly say that I came to Ryugu Castle to confirm whether Princess Shirahoshi is Poseidon. It seems to be fixed now. Let's not talk about other things for the time being. Since this Vanderdyken has been harming Princess Shirahoshi for 10 years, let me help you solve it. Luffy said. After the simple exchange, Sharkstar's hostility towards Luffy has eased a lot. They came outside the shell tower, Straw Hat Luffy. I choose to trust you. I hope you will not let me down my trust in you. Otherwise, even if my strength is much worse than yours, I will use my life to protect my sister. Sharkstar took a serious look at Luffy, then waved to the soldiers guarding the shell tower. The soldiers received Sharkstar's order and immediately opened the shell tower. Sharkstar looked at everyone. My sister is very timid, so don't go in with many people. Luffy, you and I can go in together. Luffy nodded. No problem. Come inside the shell tower. Princess Shirahoshi shrank in the corner in panic. Although everything here is arranged according to the princess's boudoir, but the cage is the cage, Luffy feels very uncomfortable when she comes in. Depression and loneliness are almost overwhelming. Thinking that Princess Shirahoshi has lived here since she was 6 years old, Luffy immediately felt sympathy for this mermaid princess whom she has never met. Really? Mr. Luffy, can yours really make me escape the curse of Vanderdaken forever? After listening to Sharkstar's introduction, little Shirahoshi excitedly picked up Luffy and held it in his palm. Yes, but Princess Shirahoshi needs your cooperation because I need to determine the location of Vanderdaken. Luffy was talking. Suddenly a spear flew in from outside. It's bad, a weapon flew in just now. Princess, be careful. The guard outside immediately shouted anxiously. Luffy reached out and pressed the spear down. He shook the spear in front of Shirahoshi's eyes. Look, as long as I look back in the direction where the weapon is flying like this, I can pull out Vanderdyken hidden in the deep sea. Just now I was startled by the flying spear. Shirahoshi still had some lingering fears, she said with fear. Mr. Luffy, sure enough, really awesome. Bringing Shirahoshi out of Dragon Palace City, Sharkstar also brought a few confidant guards along with him. Considering the reasons of the deep sea, Luffy asked Frankie to drive the melee out, and with the coating, it can pass freely in the deep sea. Shirahoshi's body is only a little smaller than the Mary, so she can't ride the Mary. She can only swim alongside. I'm not sure when Vanderdaken's next weapon will come. Little Shirahoshi, is there any place you want to go? Luffy asked. Shirahoshi said timidly. Of course there are many. However, if you can, I can go to Hazezen to pay homage to my mother. Soon, a group of people came to the sea forest. Princess Shirahoshi paid homage to Princess Otoheim. Not long after, a weapon flew towards her. Luffy reached out to hold the weapon, then looked in the direction the weapon was coming from, and said, the basic direction is confirmed. Now we can go. Mary set sail after driving in the predetermined direction for about half an hour. Another weapon flew over from the sea. Very good. Now the direction is more certain. Luffy's body is covered with a bubble film. Standing in the sea water, the observation haki is fully opened, covering all the surrounding sea areas. After sailing for about 2 hours, I experienced 3 weapons successively. In the perception of Luffy's observation haki, the outline of a pirate ship finally appeared. Found it! Luffy swims forward seeing this. Shark quickly picked up the steel fork and followed. Vanderdaken and his group rushed out when they heard the movement outside. Under Luffy's Conqueror's haki, those little pirates were instantly knocked to the ground. As for Vanderdaken, Just as he was about to make a move, several arms blossomed out of his body, directly pressing his arms behind his back. Vanderdaken, you caused my sister to lose her freedom for 10 years, and today I will kill you. Full of anger, Sharkstar sprinted rapidly, and the thruster in his hand pierced through Vanderdaken's chest. 10 years of grievances once vented. The steel fork in Sharkstar's hand turned vigorously, smashing Vanderdaken's heart completely. The next day, King Neptune hosted the Straw Hat Pirates with the highest banquet, Luffy Crazy Show Meat. Sanji sprayed 2 caddies of nosebleed in the mermaid sister's sweet voice. That night, Luffy proposed to Neptune the idea of letting Shirahoshi go with him. When I heard that Luffy wanted to abduct his precious girl, Neptune naturally refused to agree. But Luffy is patient. Tell Neptune the possible consequences of Shirahoshi Poseidon's identity. Finally, under Luffy's persuasive persuasion, Neptune drove Luffy and his gang out of Dragon Palace. Looking at Luffy's dejected look, Robin couldn't help laughing and said, "Aha, I just said, she's the only daughter of the family. How could she be willing to let her leave her side? Luffy, why don't you try harder? My lovely Shirahoshi-chan." Sanji is lying on a stretcher, sleeping in Hungtun Day. He's bleeding a lot these days, so he can't stand up now. Luffy shrugged his shoulders. Forget it. Twisted melons are not sweet, if that's the case. Then let's set off for the new world. Shirahoshi, I still can't get on Mr. Luffy's boat over there. Neptune, if I over there can see the screen of the viewing system, I should agree. But I don't know anything over there, and I certainly won't be willing to let Shirahoshi go Nami. And it seems like everyone broke up just when Luffy and his group were about to board the boat. A shark boat flew fast. When we got to the front, it was the great Prince Shashing who came with Shirahoshi. Seeing the two, Luffy waved his hand in relief. Are you here to say goodbye? Sharkstar holds a steel fork in his hand, folds his arms in front of his chest, and says coldly, "No, I'm here to give you my sister, Nani." Suddenly hearing this, everyone in the Straw Hat Pirates opened their mouths wide in astonishment. Hey, hello. Didn't your father, King Neptune, refuse Luffy's request? Usopp said loudly. Sharkstar shrugged his shoulders. Yes. It's just that Shirahoshi really wanted to see the world on the sea. And when she learned that you were leaving, she was crying and fussing yesterday. I really can't bear to see my sister go down like this. Mr. Luffy, I really want to see the outside world. Take me with you. Shirahoshi looked at Luffy pitifully. But your father sighed. For Shirahoshi's initiative, Luffy is very happy. You don't have to worry about this. I will explain it to my father. In fact, after my father rejected you yesterday, you didn't force me to grab you, so I know that I can entrust my sister to you with confidence. Sharkstar speaks from his heart. If the Straw Hat Pirates have any evil thoughts about Shirahoshi, they can directly take Shirahoshi away, but the Straw Hat Pirates did not do this. This one point makes Sharkstar fully recognize the quality of the Straw Hat Pirates. Since you say that, then I will not be hypocritical. Shirahoshi's identity. Danger will come to him sooner or later. So, I can assure you that you entrust her to I. You big brother made the most correct decision on Shirahoshi. Luffy sincerely assures Sharkstar. Afterwards, after some pleasantries, Shirahoshi entered the 1,000 Miles of Sunshine, became a partner of the Straw Hat Pirates, and went to the New World Soul. Vinsmoke Sanji, wow, the little Shirahoshi-chan over there is our partner. GOL, D. Roger. With the strength of the Straw Hat Pirates over there, Shirahoshi joined the Straw Hat Pirates. It is indeed much safer than staying in the Fishman Island. Edward Newgate. That's right. Even if the Marines and Admirals are all dispatched, it's impossible to defeat the Straw Hat Pirates over there. Neptune. Seeing that Shirahoshi over there finally boarded Straw Hat Luffy's boat, I felt relieved. Thousands of miles of sunshine encountered an archipelago whale on the bottom of the sea, and they were swept along by the deep-sea rapids rolled up by the island whale. By the time it reached the surface of the sea, it was already far away from the record pointer sunlight. On the deck, Princess Shirahoshi wears a power swimming ring made by Usopp, so that Shirahoshi can move freely on the deck. She raised her beautiful cheeks, feeling the warmth of the real sun shining on her skin. For her, It is the best thing in this world. There is an island ahead. Shall we lean over it? In the communication broadcast, Usopp's voice is heard. Okay, let's talk. Following Luffy's order, the 1,000 miles of sunshine soon landed. Monkey D. Luffy, huh? This is Punk Hazard, right? Why doesn't their Punk Hazard have fire and ice? Roronoa Zoro. It seems that because Akiji and Akainu on their side did not duel, the island is still the same as before. Nico Robin. Yes, this should be what Punk Hazard looked like. No good. Luffy and his party went to Punk Hazard and found a damaged research institute. After walking not far, Luffy got a lot of information from this ruin by listening to the voice of all things. It turns out that this is the scientific research base of the government of the world, where various weapons and medicines are researched and developed 4 years ago. Guy Sakurang and the Marine Science team betrayed Marine, detonated the slime, and directly destroyed the entire island. And the ruins of the Research Institute in front of the Straw Hat Pirates is one of the 3 research institutes. Knowing that this is actually the place where Vegapunk used to study, Frankie was so happy. He rushed in, found the abandoned main engine room, and ate up all the machines inside. Afterwards, they found a second abandoned research institute on the island. Frankie did the same thing and ate up the entire computer room. How's the effect? Seeing Frankie hiccuping, the partners asked curiously. It's great. Huh. With these experimental data and knowledge, my transformation technology will go to the next level. And there is the last research institute. Can't be wasted eat. The area of this island is not too big, and soon everyone found the 3rd research institute. However, just as I was about to go in, I saw someone walking out of the research institute. Civil, they were thinking about something, but didn't notice the Straw Hat Pirates outside. After walking a few steps, he suddenly stopped and raised his head suddenly. When he saw Luffy's appearance, he jumped back and exclaimed, "The Straw Hat." At this moment, Trafalgar Law felt like it was Ed, what the hell? Why can I also meet this group of bounty monsters here? Chapter 173, I am 7 Warlords of the Sea. I can't get a bounty. Please subscribe. The incident of Sabeti Archipelago seems to be still vivid in my memory. The moment Trafalgar Law saw Luffy and the others, his first reaction was to run away. He directly raised his hand. The Fruit Ability Operation Room will be activated immediately. However, before he snapped his fingers, Luffy's Conqueror's Haki was released directly, forming a torrent of Conqueror's Haki impact, which hit Trafalgar Law with a bang. The substantive impact of this Conqueror's Haki is completely different from the large-scale deterrence of Conqueror's Haki. The power of substantial impact is much stronger than the power of large-scale deterrence. Luffy's Conqueror's Haki substantial impact if it is fully exerted. Even Admiral will be injured if it is hit. Of course, the opponent in front of me is just a supernova 2 years ago, so it is naturally not worthy of Luffy's full use of his mouth boom. Trafalgar Law's body slammed into the wall behind him, and his fruit ability was interrupted. Seastone Star. Usopp raised his slingshot and dropped a Seastone handcuff, which hit Trafalgar Law's wrist nervously with the power of inertia. The Seastone handcuffs swung along the trend, directly locking the wrist of Tila. The last time you ran away, 3 people in the Sabeti Archipelago. I was very confused. Later, I studied your abilities, and only then did I understand how you managed to escape. So, when I meet you again for the 2nd time, you won't be able to escape. Luffy walks up to Trafalgar Law, grabs the Seastone handcuffs on Trafalgar Law's wrist, and then cuffs his other hand. Hey, aren't you a capable person? Why can you take Seastone handcuffs? Suddenly seeing Luffy grabbing Seastone handcuffs with his bare hands, and even doing handcuffs on him, Trafalgar Law was directly stunned. Take it for a few hours a day, and you'll get used to it. Luffy smiled slightly, grabbed the chain in the middle of the Seastone handcuffs, and pulled Trafalgar Law up with a little force, of course. Although Luffy can easily hold the Seastone handcuffs, he still can't use the fruit ability when he comes into contact with Seastone. This is the law of the world, and it cannot be changed by practice. Trafalgar Law. QQ. Is this okay? Then, Trafalgar Law suddenly remembered something, and he hurriedly shouted, "Wait a minute! I'm a straw hat. I'm now 647 Warlords of the Sea. Even if you take me to Marine Base, I won't be rewarded golden. Luffy glanced at Trafalgar Law with a weird face. Good guy. Is the first impression others have of me is to exchange rewards. Seeing that Luffy didn't speak, but showed a strange expression, Trafalgaro suddenly panicked. Not good. This guy knows that I can't exchange bounties, so he won't silence the murder. Trafalgar Law doesn't want to die. To be precise, he can't die before he kills Doflamingo. As a child who has experienced hell since childhood, Trafalgar Law himself is not afraid of death. But he must avenge Rosinante. Before he succeeds in revenge, no matter what method he uses, he will try his best to continue living. Therefore, he hurriedly said, "The Straw Hats, if you just want money, I can help you. As long as you cooperate with me, I can guarantee that you will get at least 100 million Baileys. Don't make trouble. I like money, but I'm not interested in robbing houses or anything like that." Luffy shook his head, stretched out his hand to help Trafalgar Law straighten his crooked hat, and then put the key of the sea stone handcuffs into his hand. "If you walk 1 kilometer away, you can open the handcuffs and leave by yourself, Nanny." Looking at the key in his hand, Trafalgar Law's face is instantly full of questions. "What is this operation?" he asked with a confused face. "What do you mean? You caught me and let me go? First, I'm not arresting you. I just met another pirate suddenly in this kind of place. Of course, the first reaction is to control the other party. Secondly, I have read the information about you. Although you have killed many people, those guys died not innocently. And you have also saved many people with your op fruit ability. Man, that makes me appreciate you. So, this is just a small episode in our respective journeys. Next, the road is facing the sky. Each side will go. After all, Luffy makes a new civil case to Trafalgar Law. Luffy. This institute is not deserted. At this time, Frankie, who had just checked the gate of the institute, suddenly shouted, "Not deserted, Abe." Luffy frowned slightly. This island does not look like a place where people live, and they found that the 2 research institutes were all abandoned. According to the normal theory, the 3rd research institute should also be abandoned, but now Frankie finds that the last research institute is still in use. Obviously, some kind of ulterior experiment must be going on in this research institute. In this kind of experimental base that has to be hidden, there is a high probability that it is a crime. Suddenly, Luffy turned his head to look at Trafalgar Law again. His gaze was inspected on Trafalgar Law's face. "You are in charge here?" Feeling the transmission from Luffy's gaze, Trafalgar Law subconsciously felt a shiver. He can clearly feel Luffy's hidden murderous intent. Trafalgar Law twisted his neck, with a look of helplessness on his face. "Okay, I'll tell you everything I know. As for whether you believe it or not, that's up to you." Then, Trafalgar Law began to talk about it from Trafalgar Law's narration. Luffy learned some information about why Punk Hazard became what he is now. What Trafalgar Law said is consistent with what Luffy heard by listening to the voice of all things before. As for Trafalgar Law himself, he sneaked in here to investigate the research data of the world government, so as to achieve the purpose of dealing with Doflamingo. This person seems to be a 7 Warlords of the Sea too. Hearing the name, Luffy frowned slightly. Before setting off to the New World this time, Luffy still did his homework on the materials of the major forces. Trafalgar Law nodded. "Yes, during the Summit War 2 years ago, you fought against him." I fought against him?" Luffy frowned even deeper. He thought about it carefully, then shook his head directly. "No. In my impression, I have never had a relationship with such a person. Have I? No. I'm sure he's going to participate in the Summit War." But then the online live broadcast was cut off. We don't know what happened. We just know the final result. Trafalgar Law scratched his head in confusion. Don Quixote Doflamingo. "I don't have any memory?" Damn, did the kid Red Luffy lose his memory? Gecko Moria. "What amnesia? You were kicked out once you met in Summit War. It will be hell if people can remember you." He. Don Quixote Doflamingo. "What nonsense are you talking? That kick was my double." Doflamingo was seriously upset when he heard Moria describe him as a scumbag. Sir Crocodile. "Yeah. Moria, you are wrong in the clown. He clearly took 2 pictures with the Red Luffy. The first time was when the clone rushed up and was shot, and the second time the real body was still hiding and was directly caught. Red Luffy punched the shit out of it. Gecko Moria. Black he. Two sides, okay Sasaki. If I remember correctly, it seems that the clown wanted to report himself to come and see, but the Red Luffy kicked him away and said something like, I don't have time to meet such a small character as you. Ha ha ha. Don Quixote Doflamingo. Damn. Thinking of that scene, Doflamingo was so angry. However, he has no way to refute anything. He can only be angry, whether he goes or not. But since Doflamingo is 7 warlords of the sea, why do you want to deal with him? Could it be that Wang Xia Kohai also engages in internal factory consumption competition? Luffy asked curiously. It's not like this, but Trafalgar Law pondered for a moment, then told his life experience. Not only did he tell about his life experience, but he also told about his joining the Don Quixote family, one normally speaking. It is impossible for Trafalgar Law to tell other people about these things of itself. But his intuition told him that the Straw Hat Luffy in front of him is the one who can help him complete his revenge. In this case, take a gamble. After listening to Trafalgar Law's narration, Luffy figured out Luo's life experience. Probably because the government of the world deliberately concealed the harm of platinum and led for the sake of profit, which led to the death of people in the country of Frevans. Trafalgar Law, as the sole survivor of the White Town Frevans, wanted to join the Don Quixote family with hostility towards the whole world, and wanted to kill more people in the last year of his life to vent his anger. But Don Quixote Rosirandi couldn't bear Trafalgar Law to go astray like this, and would rather take the risk of exposing his undercover identity, but also slowly change Trafalgar Law's outlook on life, and help him go the right way. It was also under the efforts of Don Quixote Rosilandi that Trafalgar Law got the op fruit, which cured him of his own lead platinum disease. But Rosalind was also shot and killed by his brother Doflamingo himself, Paulusolino. Woo! No wonder Trafalgar Law will use the chance of immortality surgery to kill Doflamingo. As long as a normal person hears this story about Trafalgar Law and Rosinante, no one will be moved. Gol D. Roger. This Marine Admiral, don't get off topic. Isn't the point here not a good thing done by the government of the world in order to get a lot of wealth? Directly kill people from one country. What? ABD. Sengoku. Roger, don't talk nonsense. It must be a story made up by Trafalgar Law. If this happened, why didn't the white frame video just now this? P.S. The original book mentioned White Town and Luo's life experience, which are all Luo's own memories, and did not tell Luffy. The comparison video mainly focuses on Luffy, so the white frame video here, some parts of the original content that do not contain Luffy will not be seen by movie viewers. He said Roger was making it up, but Sengoku knew it was his making it up. But as the Marshal of Marine, besides doing his best to restore the image of the world government and Marine, what else can he do? Edward Newgate. Nonsense. The videos on both sides are all about Luffy. The trajectory of the Trafalgar Law boy on the side of the white box is different from that on the side of the red box. If he didn't take the initiative to say it over there, of course we couldn't see it. Shiki. The meaning of this old Sengoku is that as long as the white frame video does not appear, you will not admit it's Charlotte Lin Lin. Well, ha ha ha. Yes, as long as you haven't seen it, you haven't done it. Achika, no. Sengoku is much more shameless than this. A lot of things have happened just now, and people are still quibbling Sengoku. You pirates are always trying to discredit the government of the world. But the eyes of the people of the world are discerning. We Marine and the government of the world stand upright and not be afraid of the slanting shadow. All the darkness and rumors will be self-defeating. Puff bursts of hilarious laughter rang out the chat room, was immediately filled with joyful atmosphere. So, what are you still researching in this research institute? Luffy pointed to the research institute and asked. Trafalgar Law replied, as far as I know, Guy Sakurang is mainly researching sad for Doflamingo, which is used as the raw material for man-made devil fruit. In addition, the guy also helped the ant to study the experiment of maximizing human beings and captured many children as experimental subjects. What? Experiment with children? Nami on the side hadn't interrupted at first, but now when she heard this, her delicate face was filled with anger. Robin was also furious. You actually use a child? This guy? Damn it. Luffy frowned. He looked at Trafalgar Law. Since you are 7 warlords of the sea, why didn't you save these children? Even if you don't want to sell it yourself, you can contact the nearby G5 branch ministry. Trafalgar Law shook his head with a wry smile. Even if I save these children, if I fail to destroy this place, then new children will be sent here. As for G5 branch, do you know who is helping Guy Sakurang to hide the truth after these children disappeared? Marine G5 branch? Luffy frowned, and his face became serious. That's right. Virgo, the base chief of the G5 branch, is a cadre of the Don Quixote family, and also an undercover agent specially sent by Doflamingo to the Marine. With Virgo here, how many Flamingo's bad deeds are covered up? Said Trafalgar Law. Luffy pondered slightly, then laughed and said, What is New World really? Jaiki snake gods have appeared. Thinking of this, Luffy looked at Trafalgar Law. I can consider what you said about cooperation, but I won't trust your one-sided words. After that, when you talk about Germany less Rosa, I'll look into that myself. If what you say is true, then you don't need to do anything. I will kill Doflamingo. But if what you say is false, think about the consequences yourself. Okay, I understand. Hearing that Luffy made such a decision, Trafalgaro was overjoyed. Then, he immediately walked towards the entrance of the Research Institute. Master of the Straw Hat, come with me. Let's get those children out first. Chapter 174, Momonosuke cremated in place. Please subscribe. Trafalgar Law, Joker, you over there are F-Ed. Don Quixote Doflamingo, Fufurfur, you really found a good helper. But don't think that I will sit still. Red Luffy is strong, but there are times strength cannot determine life and death. Gecko Moria, you are still stubborn. You will die if you meet each other, and you will not be given a chance to use tricks. Sir Crocodile, the clown is used to being self-righteous. He thinks he is so smart, but what he doesn't know is that his cleverness is useless in front of Red Luffy. Don Quixote Doflamingo, then we'll see. Fufurfur, led by Trafalgar Law, the Straw Hat Pirates soon came to the biscuit room where the children were held. The door opened, and a group of children inside were asking for sweets around a slender woman with a beautiful face. Among these children, some of them are very huge, which is obviously the result of the experiment candy. We want to eat candy. These children surrounded the woman. Their emotions were very excited. It's such a loving picture. Chopper's eyes bloomed the light of friendship. Trafalgar Law said, Don't be fooled, Tanuki. That candy is a poison that will make these children docile. At this time, Monet stopped his hands and looked towards Trafalgar Law. Luo, you don't want to continue pretending, do you? Hearing this, Trafalgar Law frowned slightly. What do you mean? Did you already know my identity? The corners of Monet's mouth slightly curved. Let me introduce myself. I am a cadre of the Red Heart Army of the Don Quixote family. I really know how to do it. What? This statement really shocked Trafalgar Law. After a long time, he has been lurking here for the past few months. It turns out that Doflamingo already knew about it. He himself thought everything was going well. Now it seems that I am the clown looking at Trafalgar Law's frightened look. Monet sneered. However, you actually attracted the Straw Hat Pirates here. This is really unexpected. Monet, since you know that the Straw Hat is in charge, then don't do any acts of resistance. As long as you cooperate with us to get rid of Doflamingo, we will not make things difficult for you. Trafalgar Law suggested. However, as soon as these words came out, a demonic smile suddenly appeared on Monet's face. The young master gave me and my sister's life. You asked me to cooperate with you to eliminate Lost the young master? Ha ha ha. Luo, since I saw you coming in on the surveillance camera just now, I have already activated the self-destruct program here. I will kill you with my life. Although it is very difficult, it's a shame, but the few people who can eliminate the Straw Hat Pirates can vent their anger on the young master. Speaking, Mona stared at Luffy fiercely. Straw Hat Luffy. 2 years ago, because you beat up my young master in the Summit War, he lost 2 back molars. Know when it rains, his gums will ache. I will always remember this grudge. This time, since fate brought you here, then go to hell and repent for the crimes you committed against my young master. Ha ha ha. Amidst the ferocious laughter, Monet's body suddenly turned into a state of ice and snow, and then turned into an ice and snow which opened his sharp ice and snow teeth and rushed toward Trafalgar Law Boom. Luffy's Conqueror's Haki condensed into a powerful force, which instantly knocked Monet down from Adair. Monet was lying on the ground, breathing deeply. Her mouth was rising and falling. She laughed ferociously. Luffy the Straw Hat, you really deserve your reputation. But from the moment I saw you on the surveillance camera just now, I didn't want to live. Now, there should be less than 10 seconds left in the self-destruct procedure. Even if you run out immediately, it will be too late to get out of the scope of this island. Monet is very self-aware. She knows that she can never be the opponent of the Straw Hat Pirates, so she resolutely activated the self-destruct program to let herself and the Straw Hat Pirates be blown away together. Buzz, 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 as Monet said. The entire research institute suddenly had an alarm, and all the alarm lights flickered desperately. Damn, she really activated the self-destruct program. Trafalgar Law looked anxious. Frankie, immediately notify 1,000 Miles of Sunshine for an emergency dive. Although Luffy is powerful, he doesn't dare to be careless in the face of an island-scale explosion. He entered Nika form in an instant. Rubber Ape, King Gun. Luffy raised his hand and punched, directly blasting open a huge skylight on the top of the research institute. Afterwards, his arms stretched out quickly entangled the partners present, Luo and the innocent child. He kicked the ground suddenly. Boom! Luffy jumped into the extremely high sky in an instant. Rubber, hot air balloon. Come into the sky. Luffy's stomach suddenly turned into a huge balloon, and under the action of the sea breeze, it was even floating upwards. 5, 4, 1. As Nami's silent countdown ended, the punk hazard below really exploded. Terrifying flames gushed out from almost every corner of the island instantly, and the shock generated by the violent explosion seemed to drop the entire sky. The air wave generated by the explosion pushes Luffy's hot air balloon far away. Wow. This explosion is terrible. Looking at the mushroom cloud rising below, all the hair on Chopper's body stood up in horror. What a vicious woman. Nami also took a deep breath, secretly shocked by Monet's determination and ruthlessness. In order to express evil spirits to the young master, even at the expense of his own life, he wanted to drag them to escape. If there is no Luffy, they are really in danger. Naval headquarters. There are many Marina. When Punk Hazard in the red frame video turned into a sea of flames, Kazuki Odin roared anxiously, "What's the matter, Odin?" Roger immediately turned his head to look over and asked suspiciously, It's over. My son, Momonosuke. Momonosuke is still in that abandoned pipeline, and he's about to be blown to death right now." Kazuki Odin cried out in pain. He wanted to slap his thigh hard, but the confinement of the viewing system made his slap extremely slow in the white frame video just now, because Luffy rescued Momonosuke. Kazuki Odin knew that Momonosuke was in the abandoned pipeline of the Punk Hazard Institute, but now, on the side of the red frame video, several mushroom clouds rose directly from the entire Punk Hazard. Don't worry about Momonosuke hiding in that pipe. It must be cold. Oh no, it's not cold, it's fire. Cremation in situ. Whitebeard also opened his mouth, and then comforted. This, so sincere. Marco reminded, Odin, don't worry too much. After all, this is what happened in the red frame video, and your son is still here. After the Summit War is over, when we return to New World, we will accompany you to Punk Hazard. Save your son. GOLD. Roger also quickly said, Yes, Odin, I know that the sun over there is also your son, but more importantly, your son is still here. Kazuki Odin took a deep breath, listened to everyone's persuasion, and recovered. Yes. Momonosuke over here, please don't worry about anything. A few kilometers away from Punk Hazard, Thousand Miles of Sunshine has resurfaced. Luffy landed with everyone. Afterwards, under Luo's call, his submarine number also surfaced. Compared to your ships, my submarine is like a toy. Trafalgar Law asked his subordinates to pick up the children and said awkwardly, "This is probably the so-called throwing away after shopping around." Luffy waved his hand. "These children are left to you. As for the Doflamingo matter, I will do as agreed." Trafalgar Law was about to close the hatch when he suddenly thought of something. He jumped onto the deck of Thousand Miles of Sunshine, molded a life card from his body, tore it, and handed it to Luffy. "This is your life card." Luffy reached out and took it. Trafa Hijaro shook his head. "No, this is the life card of a local fur tribe in Zou. I went there not long ago. I think Robin's family should be very interested in that place." "Robin?" Luffy showed confusion on his face. Trafalgar Law explained, "Robin's family is the only survivor of O'Hara. She can translate the historical text, and there's a red historical text in Zou's whale forest. Robin's family will definitely want to find out." Sengoku, red history text. That's one of the 4 signpost history texts. J. Galucius Satan-san. Is it actually in Zou? It's really a hard place to find. Kong. We should pay more attention to this matter. When we have time, we must bring this historical textile of Zou back to the Holy Land for safekeeping. Zero Seeking Flowers. Joel D. Roger. TSK. I really don't want Billy in. But, Kong Laugo, your ideas are useless. When I feel better, I will directly announce the road signs of the 4 red historical texts. Sengoku. Roger, don't do something stupid. Gecko Moria. Do you want to announce the 4 coordinates of Raftel? GOL D. Roger. If you want to go to Raftel, you still have to rely on your own efforts to find a signpost. Of course, if the world government's actions are too disgusting, I will definitely announce the road signs. History text. It's still a red road sign. History text. Hearing Trafalgar Law's words, Luffy and Robin looked surprised at the same time. Very good. That's the expression. Straw Hats are in charge, so you're a normal person with normal emotions. Trafalgar Law pointed at Luffy's expression and said with a smile. Luffy smiled slightly. "What you said? The cold appearance is only used to face outsiders. If it is a friend, I will not put on airs. However, Zou should be a place name, right? Why did you give us a life card instead of a permanent record pointer?" Luffy asked suspiciously. Trafalgar Law smiled mysteriously, and the corners of his mouth curled up. "As for the answer to this question, allow me to keep it a secret. When you arrive by yourself when it's time for Zou, I promise you won't be shocked once. All right. Thank you then. My friend." Speaking, Luffy took out his life card, tore off a piece, and handed it to Trafalgar Law. Trafalgaro put away Luffy's life card, then tore a piece of his own life card and handed it to Luffy. After bidding farewell to the Heart Pirates, the Thousand Sunshines sailed in the direction of Dressrosa, Gecko Moria. Hey, get ready for a great moment. Sand Crocodile, say yes. Look at how our Lord the Clown murdered Red Luffy with a trick, Don Quixote Doflamingo. Then open your eyes a little wider and have a good look. Being mocked by these 2 guys continuously. No matter how big Doflamingo is, he will inevitably feel sick. 1,000 Miles of Sunshine arrives in Dressrosa. This is a wild port, and there are endless huge rocks on the coast, just like a city wall. "Mr. Luffy, can I get off the boat with you?" Shirahoshi swam out of the swimming pool on the deck and looked at Luffy. Timidly, Luffy agreed. "Okay. This is the country of human beings. There are not only forests on the island, but also human cities. I will take you to have fun. When I was in Punk Hazard before, the island was a barren island. Not to mention the forest. Not even a single hair. Now docked at the wild port Dressrosa, you can see the lush forest when you go ashore, which just meets the wish of little Shirahoshi walking in the forest. Although it sounds like a trivial matter, but Luffy understands that for little Shirahoshi, this can be said to be the biggest wish of growing up. Since I agreed to Shirahoshi, this matter must not be sloppy. After landing on shore, Shirahoshi is equipped with a hula hoop and can move freely by relying on the power of the wind. A group of people came to this primeval forest, The towering ancient trees are tens of meters high. It's amazing. I've never seen a tree like this. Little Shirahoshi stretched out his hands and molded on the trunk. Excited, the sea water off the coast suddenly surged earth-shakingly, and two sea kings came out of the water directly. Hey, Luffy was taken aback and quickly comforted Shirahoshi. Little Shirahoshi, stop crying. Sea kings will come crying when you cry. If we continue to cry for a while, all the sea kings in the surrounding waters will come to visit the pier. Then it will be lively. So many sea kings each sneezed once. I am afraid that the coast of Dressrosa will be completely submerged. After Luffy appeases Shirahoshi, he prepares to use Conqueror's Haki to frighten the two sea kings away. But suddenly, he heard kindness from these two sea kings. That's a way to convey friendliness. Even there's a little bit of licking. Suddenly, Luffy was a little confused. These sea kings are licking me? Ms. Chapter 175 Doflamingo is a good king? Please subscribe. After playing in the primeval forest for a while, Luffy and his party went to the city of Dressrosa. The most famous slogan of Dressrosa can be seen everywhere in the city. The land of love, passion, and toys. This country looks very rich. The buildings are tall and prosperous, and people's faces are full of smiles. Nami bought a few special snacks from the roadside stalls and shared them with everyone. Indeed, this country is so rich. Compared to Alabasta, the happiness of people in this country is much higher. Luffy nodded, really surprised by this scene. According to Trafalgar law, Doflamingo should be a full-fledged bad species. However, in the country under his rule, the life of common people is so rich this is unreasonable. From the perspective of state governance, this Doflamingo seems to be a very capable person. Robin can't help but marvel at the prosperity of this country. Since she was 8 years old, she has been living in exile and has been to countless places. Just by comparing them, Luo can judge the degree of economic development of Dressrosa. It is no exaggeration to say that this country is the richest existence among all the countries she has ever seen. Luffy suggested that everyone find delicious food by themselves, and he pointed to a 1-meter-high barbecue in front of barbecue shop and said, "Boss, give me 5 skewers." "Okay, distinguished guest, just wait a moment. I'll heat it up for you." The store owner brought 5 1-meter-long meat skewers over, put them in a large oven, and started heating them. "Boss, are people in your country so rich?" Luffy chatted with the owner of the barbecue shop while the barbecue was heating up from the shop owner's attitude towards customers. Luffy can feel that the shop owner's happiness is not fake. And being able to make a shop owner with a lot of money without any arrogance shows that the local people are generally very rich. To give a simple example, if all the wealth in a place is gathered in the hands of 10% of the people, then these 10% of the people in the local area are definitely above the top, and no one cares about them. And if the wealth of a place is equally distributed to everyone, then everyone will be in harmony with each other, and no one will look down on anyone. Guest, you are right. In our Dressrosa, everyone has no pressure in life. The king will carry out large-scale construction of the city every year, and the local people participate in the work, and they can get very high rewards. Everyone lives without worries. By the way, all the basic public facilities and services in Dressrosa will not charge any fees to civilians, but will also give expensive commissions to those who participate in voluntary labor. The boss is obviously also a warm-hearted person. Chatting with Luffy, Gion, is the country under the rule of the clown actually living such a wealthy life? Crane, indeed. Judging by the appearance of the owner of this barbecue shop, it really doesn't seem like he's pretending Sir Crocodile. That clown, is he so loved by commoners? Gecko Moria, stop praising him. It's not like I haven't seen the white frame video just now. When that guy was finally beaten by Luffy, people all over the country applauded Capone Beach. To be honest, if Doflamingo hadn't released Birdcage in the end to kill everyone, the public might not have hoped that Straw Hat Luffy would defeat him. Basil Hawkins. Yeah, all the people in Dressrosa are crazy about Doflamingo, especially before Sasuke gets knocked out. When watching the white frame video before, although everyone knows that Dressrosa is rich in economy, but there is no scene of Luffy's street interview, so I didn't know that the life happiness of Dressrosa civilians was so high. Now, seeing the situation in the red frame video, I am naturally surprised by this kind of thing. The boss peeled an orange and gave half to Luffy. Luffy stuffed a handful of oranges into his mouth, leaned against the counter, and then asked, "By the way, I heard that your current king is the 7 warlords of the sea. It seems that you have only taken over this country for not many years." 10 years. His Majesty Heavenly Yiksha has been here in our Dressrosa for 10 years. The owner of the barbecue restaurant had a light in his eyes. "What about your original king? What kind of person is he?" Luffy continued to ask. The owner of the barbecue shop said, "Our original king was Riku Dole III, but he led the king's army to kill civilians 10 years ago and was kicked out by Doflamingo. Kill civilians indiscriminately?" Hearing this, Luffy frowned slightly. "He is a cruel person." The owner of the barbecue shop shook his head. No, no, no. This matter is actually quite strange. King Riku has been in power for so many years, and he has always been a good person. I don't know that time, why did we suddenly levy 10 billion Baileys from us? And the civilians couldn't afford it, so they started killing civilians. That was the only time he did bad things for so many years in power. Hearing this, Luffy thought for a while and almost understood what was going on. If something goes wrong, there must be a demon. Obviously, King Riku's abnormal behavior is caused by Doflamingo. "Guest, your barbecue is ready." The owner of the barbecue shop opened the grill and handed 5 strings of 1-meter-long barbecue to Luffy. Luffy took it and carried the 5 skewers like a flagpole, took out one of them, and ate it while eating. I asked, "Although 100 Baileys are a lot, but your country is so rich, can't you come up with the 10 billion Baileys?" The owner of the barbecue shop laughed and said, "Guest, you are joking. In the era of King Riku's rule, our country was very poor, let alone 10 billion berries, even if it is 5 billion Baileys. It will be difficult for the people of the whole country to get together in a short period of time. Unlike now, His Majesty can casually come up with 10 billion Baileys. Why is it so poor? Didn't the economy develop when King Riku was in power?" Luffy asked curiously. The owner of the barbecue restaurant spread his hands. "That His Majesty King Riku is a good man. He is kind and charitable. Many countries in war have come to him for help, and he will organize national donations to help those countries in war. So, speaking of which," the owner of the barbecue shop pouted, "he is a good man, but I don't think he is a good king." Luffy thought for a while and understood what the owner of the barbecue shop wanted to express. Indeed, there is no doubt that King Riku is a kind person, but when such a person sits on the throne, it must be a good thing for the people of this country. The financial and material resources of one's own country are used to help other countries, and then the people of one's own country can only live in suffering and poverty. I am afraid that it will be the same for everyone's heart. And now Doflamingo, let everyone live a good life. No matter what kind of person Doflamingo is, he is a good king to people like Dressrosa, a king who is out of vulgar taste, a king who is so good that the people of the whole country support him. "Okay, thank you, boss, for the barbecue." Luffy paid the money, exchanged some pleasantries with the boss, and then left. Afterwards, he inquired about King Riku and Doflamingo from other people. Everyone expresses the same meaning. Everyone thinks that King Riku is a good man, but they don't think that King Riku is a good king. On the contrary, a king like Doflamingo, even if he scolds the common people in front of the common people still think he's a good king, although this is more or less looking at the money. But if you really want to think about it, what do the common people want? Isn't it just wanting to live a good life? You let me live a good life. Even if you curse at me, I still support you. You make me suffer and suffer poorly. No matter how good your character is, there is no use for it. And Luffy also discovered a very cryptic thing from the information he inquired. That is, judging from the performance of these people, it seems that they can more or less guess the reason for the change of Dressrosa's imperial power 10 years ago. Although in the beginning, there were a lot of people complaining about Wan Riku. However, as everyone's life gets better and better, the number of people speaking out for King Riku among the common people has become less and less, and finally almost disappeared. Charlotte Cracker. It's outrageous. The clown guy is the king, so he's so good. Charlotte Daifuka. You can't say that. I watched the white frame video just now. After the sugar passed out, the toys all returned to adulthood. Aren't there many guys who originally opposed Doflamingo? This shows that people who opposed Doflamingo, they have all been turned into toys. So of course all the ones left in the end are those who support him, Don Quixote Doflamingo. Are you stupid? Can't you understand from the comparison of the white frame video and the red frame video? The number of people who oppose me is just that small, but I only spent 3 to 5 years. More than 90% of the people in Dressrosa have fully supported me. Although this king is not rare to be a good king, but the fact is here, what can I do for Riku Dude 3? This is impossible. The video must be fake. How can the people of Dressrosa support such an evil person as Doflamingo? Don Quixote Doflamingo. You can't accept it. There's nothing you can do about it. The truth is in front of you. Excuse me, are you Mr. Monkey D. Luffy? A delicate-looking woman appeared in front of Luffy and asked politely, "Yes. Is there something?" Luffy frowned. "Hello. This is an invitation letter from our king. We invite you and your friends to attend the Royal Palace dinner tonight. Our king wants to clean up the dust for everyone in the Straw Hat Pirates. Welcome to our country." The woman took out an invitation card and handed it to Luffy respectfully. Oh, hearing this, Luffy is a little surprised. He didn't expect that the invitation letter from Doflamingo had already been sent to him after he arrived in Dressrosa for more than half a day.
No more novels? Take part in the voting. The most requested novels and those with the most likes will be chosen for publication on euroaudiobooks.com. There, I can upload as much as I want without the risk of receiving a strike. Our 18 novels and other content that exceed what is morally acceptable are only published on Patreon or the free novels page. Remember, the site is funded by donations on Ko-fi and Patreon memberships.